guttural scream of a different kind. Ben and Woods this morning. So many levels to that guttural scream. The infallible Dodgers, one of them. I just sounded like Joe Davis. Do you hear that? The infallible Dodgers. The Mike Shildt, Kevin Acee piece in the San Diego Union Tribune. Woo!
Man.
The winter storm that ravaged San Diego yesterday. I'm just do all day in Joe Davis
Please
voice.
don't.
All day. Good morning, everybody. Ben and Woods, 97.3 The Fan. Needed to get it out. Certainly. A 72-hour news cycle for our manager retiring from baseball. I'm Woodchie. That's Paul Reindl. He's the executive producer of the program. Good morning, Paulie.
Hey, how are you?
Doing great, buddy. And Ben Higgins, your friendly neighborhood sports anchor. How are you? It's going to become a habit.
Please don't.
It's going to become a habit.
Try not to let it.
I already have to
become
hear
a
him on my
habit.
TV tonight.
I know.
I don't need to hear it this morning.
Maybe. I heard he's got food poisoning from that pink turkey he ate the other night. I saw it on Awful Announcing. One of the guys said, I think he might have food poisoning because he ate that very pink, undercooked turkey. Imagine not knowing that Joe Davis would never actually cook a turkey, that he jumps through barbed wire fences at midnight and eats turkeys whole. Like, that's what he does. He's vampiric, right? Imagine not knowing that that's how he consumes turkeys. He sneaks into graveyards and turkey coops, eats them whole, and then goes back to his home, right? But that would be interesting. Yeah, we already do have to hear him this evening. But yeah, we've got a lot to get to today. I wanted to check on everybody out there. Hope the tier ones are okay. The rainstorm that came through yesterday, I'll say it was a little bit dicey. It was a little bit dicey for us here. A little bit of weather.
We get very excited at a television news station with
Betty.
a bit of weather.
It
As you can imagine.
Yes, dude.
All hands on deck.
Which is insane. It rained. It rained.
Some wind. Oh, my goodness.
It was windy. As I was driving, God dang it, this camera. As I was driving home from my physical therapist, my guy, and he does my body work. It always sounds weird. It was an Oceanside, and the palm tree fronds were all over the road. I was weaving around them. I was like, whoa. Yeah. I didn't want to run over them because one would have a giant stalk, would go up through them and pierce my carburetor or something. But, dude, driving home, and then I would go pick the kids up from school and get them both home. And all of our Halloween decorations in the yard had been blown down from the trees. It was like skeletons and witches all over the yard, blown everywhere. I'm like,
how did you guys recover?
We just hung them back up. Once the rain stopped, like normal people do. I didn't. I think my wife did. I walked right through it. So I'm assuming she hung them back up.
Did the community come together in this
I think so.
time of crisis?
But the best was
neighbors helping neighbors.
The best was this. Kind of amble into the kitchen. I ambled into the kitchen and my wife watches Fox 5. I do apologize. It's always on in our house. Sorry, Ben.
She knows I was anchoring last night.
Yeah,
right?
but her dad,
also worked at my station for many years.
Yeah, but in like the 70s, I think. So I
worked with him at my station for many years.
Fair, but fine.
Have you seen Troy Hirsch?
Have you seen Troy Hirsch? She's very handsome. So she has Fox 5 on, and they're doing their rain coverage. And I'm SU not. When the guy is on the street, he's got the slicker on, the hoodie on over. I'm out here, blah, blah, blah. I don't even know where he was. You can see that there's water and it's pouring into the gutter here. And if you can see it's a steady stream. On God, he takes the microphone. He holds it down to get the sound of the water going into the. I looked at him and I go, is he? He is. And she's like, you have no idea. Because when she worked there, she goes, it was like all hands on deck.
They had part of the job.
Rain team and the whole thing.
We had our reporter Ryan Hill out in El Cajon with the rain slicker on in the rain, covering the high winds in the East County. And he breathlessly tosses to the video and he goes, and we obtained this video of a dumpster with the lid bouncing up and down a little bit. Oh no. A trash dumpster blowing in the wind.
Sitting there in power stance. Hi, Kimberly.
This was me. Hi, Ben. I walk out of our 5 o'clock news and I see our producers and news director standing there. I go, are we sure we don't want to move that dumpster video to the lead at 6 o'clock? I mean, San Diego's got to see this.
It's unbelievable. Just like this, like
We'll send that in to ABC National News.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
it's pretty embarrassing.
David Muir, let's check in on what's going on. The tragedy in San Diego.
We've got audio. We got some
trees are swaying.
I've got audio of water going into a gutter. Here we go. Listen to this. I was crying laughing. I go, this is unbelievable. What a city we live in. It's just, you know.
Now, Megan did a great job with the weather forecast. There was tons of accidents on the road. It was a mess out there. It was a mess out there, and it was worth covering. But we do it in a somewhat comically breathless way. When it rains here in San Diego, we do.
And it's not a bit. If it was a bit, it would be hysterical. But they don't do it as a bit. They do it as like real coverage, which you have to on the news. You can't do bits on the news, which I think is stupid. You should. You should. JH619 says, you asshats can't drive. JH, that is the same comment that people make in Minneapolis, Chicago, New York, Dallas, Austin.
You've lived in most of these places.
I've lived in almost every one of these cities. It's not native to California. It's not. I've lived in like 8-9 states. You know, there's some dude right now in Omaha, Nebraska. Few people cannot drive in the rain, man. It's standard.
First time through a tornado?
Yeah, exactly. So it's standard. The thing is here, and I heard this years ago, it never rains here. So the roads are slick.
Yeah.
When it does rain, it makes sense because there's oil and things that leak out on the road.
To my knowledge, they literally weren't built for rain.
Correct.
Like most roads have some sort of a curve where the water will just run off.
Yeah.
And San Diego, like, it doesn't rain here.
There's plenty of places in San Diego where you're like, dude, I'm driving through a pond right now. So it's not set up for. You can see it here. We play baseball at these fields sometimes, and it hasn't rained in 3 weeks. And the umpire's like, watch out for this giant standing room puddle. I'm like, what is this doing here? He's like, it's from the last rain we had back in June. And it just doesn't, they just don't drain here. I don't understand it. But the streets get very slick, and it's a little bit more difficult to drive on. So I'm not going to trash my fellow San Diegans at all because it does get a little weird. It was a little windy, certainly. I enjoy it a little bit. Got a little nap in yesterday while the kids watched a movie, and got up this morning. I put a pot roast on this morning before I came to work, cutting up onions, carrots, the whole bit. It's going to be simmering.
It's cooking right now.
It's cooking right. I can smell it. It's going to be when I get home today. We've got parent-teacher conference. It's conference week, and then next week is fall break. When I get home from conference, it's ready. Like it's ready. It's been simmering slowly for, at that time, it'll be about 8 to 10 hours.
You sear it off first?
I don't sear it off. I never have.
I just put it raw.
I raw dog it.
The pot.
Raw dog it in the pot. I put a beer in it, and I put some beef broth and my spices and things that I put, and then carrots, potatoes, and onions. And then I set it on low, and oh my God, it is. I make elite pot roast.
You put ketchup on it when you eat
Oh
it?
God, no.
Okay, just making sure.
No, I'm not a serial killer.
Some people do.
So I got that going. Excited about that. And I like when it gets a little bit, nippy like that. It's fall. Fall's here. It's arrived.
It'll go away soon.
Yeah. It'll be 85 degrees again,
yeah,
which is fine. But man, today will be another interesting day on the Ben and Woods program, certainly. We will be talking about the latest piece that dropped from Kevin Acee last night. And we'll talk about, if you haven't heard about it yet, it's fairly spicy. I had an inkling that it was coming, certainly, because we've now been through this 4 times. This is the 4th time we've gone through this as a show, right?
New manager.
Green fired. Tingler hired. Tingler fired. Melvin hired. Melvin quit. Shildt hired. Shildt quit.
Mm-hmm.
We all were on the Zoom call yesterday with AJ Preller. We should just replay it in its entirety. We're not going to, but we could. And I'd feel okay about it because many people might not have heard it. But we'll talk about what we gleaned from that, which, as usual, the end of the year press conference where you have to find a new manager that happens every other year. I didn't learn a ton. I zoned out a couple of times. There were some interesting questions asked. There were some terrible questions asked. There were some interesting answers-ish, and then some, I kind of expected this. But I think the real topic du jour is the piece by Kevin Acee last night. And I could honestly go line by line through this thing. It is pretty fascinating. And let me say this out of the chute. There was nothing in that article that surprised me even a little. Not even a little. I not that I'd heard, but I knew.
It was still shocking a little bit to see some of the accounts like in print. It was kind of like, you're like, wow, that's out there now. Yeah. Like that's a thing now.
But
it just confirmed a lot of things that you might have already thought.
I also want to be careful because I said this when Bomel quit. I like Bomel. I thought he was a great manager in the fact that like he had a really good pedigree, and I tried to find anything bad that anybody would say about him when we hired him. I couldn't find one. Not one. Not one person was like, yeah, dude, you're going to actually, his root beer barrel bit is really going to rub you raw, and he's going to drive you crazy. He never drove me crazy. We never really got to talk to him. We didn't do a manager's report, really. We talked to him a couple times a year. Pretty convivial when we'd see him in the dugout, like nice enough. But we never really got to know Bomel. Now, the clubhouse fell apart under him, and that sucks. But I also don't want to do the bit that San Diego media has done forever, is I don't want to dance on somebody's grave. Not that Mike Shildt's dead, but I don't want to dance on his grave. I don't think Kevin was doing that either necessarily, but this is what happens. A little bit. This is what happens. This happens every time. Why is anybody surprised?
Don't you think this is worlds different than crapping on Andy Green after he got fired or something? Like, nobody expected.
Remember, Mike Shildt didn't get fired. He chose to walk away. Now, would this have all come out had he still been the manager today? That's what I'm curious.
That's a really good question.
But what Wood said, I agree with. And I'm not going to say that I was a little surprised. Certainly wasn't shocked, like AJ said yesterday when
to take a page out of his book.
Well, he said I was surprised but not shocked that Shildt walked away. But when Mike Shildt arrived, we were told a couple of things that seemed very clear. He's a really good manager, and he can be difficult at times. There was a reason they let him go in St. Louis after a couple of years. It wasn't a lack of success on the field. So you knew he was coming with some baggage when he arrived, and you wondered.
We didn't know what that was.
But we had some indications that it was certainly personnel interaction. And when he got here, we were wondering, well, people do grow and change and sometimes learn from previous experience, and maybe he will do some of that. But it also seems clear that there is a, part of his personality that is difficult for his colleagues to deal with. It was difficult for the media to deal with. We never made we never hid that at all over the last couple of years, that he could sometimes be a difficult personality to deal with. Doesn't mean he's not a good person. Doesn't mean he's not a really good manager who did a great job and has always done a good job. And I will contend again today. It's going to be difficult to replace him.
I'm probably just splitting hairs here, but I would say that does make you a difficult manager. Like, if you're difficult to work with and not working well with your people, you're a good baseball coach. Like, baseball, but you're not a good leader of men if that's how you act.
They loved him. The players liked playing for Shildt. Why?
But when you're the manager, you're not just in charge of 26 players.
But the 26... They by all accounts liked playing for him.
But when you're the head honcho, bro, it's more than just 26 guys. You are in charge of everybody to some degree.
Yeah, it's interesting. So that will be a huge topic today, certainly. But I again, I want to be careful about, again, kicking a guy while he's down. Certainly, I think that's not who we are. That's not who I am. That's not what we want to do. But I think it is an interesting article. But again, I just knowing it like as intimately as I did, I certainly wasn't surprised by much of this at all. And I thought there was some interesting buts in there too. Like, hey, he was this, but he made me better, right? Like, there's a lot of that too. So we'll talk about it today. But man, it is just insane. And here we go. The first one of the day, Leonardo. My gosh, it's those two divas, Manny and Tatis. Even if they get someone they like, they will get him fired. So he didn't get fired. I've got a picture of my DMs from our buddy that tweeted me. His daughter's boyfriend, Sunday, at breakfast with Mike Shildt and Manny Machado, right? We've done this. Shildt and Toddy are massively close, extremely close. Mike Shildt walked away from baseball because I think he felt it was killing him. To continue to put blame on these two guys is absurd. It's absurd. I don't hear this narrative out of Philly. How many? Bryce Harper's the leader of the clubhouse, yeah. Trey Turner, those guys, the high price guys that didn't show up in October, haven't won a ring. I don't hear this out of there. I wonder why. I don't hear it. It's very odd.
I mean, it's fair to criticize Bryce Harper and Fernando Tatis Jr. and Manny Machado for not hitting in the playoffs.
But to couch this as like, oh, it's their fault. And you don't know. You're not in that clubhouse. The clubhouse, by all accounts, was really, really good. Now, Shilt's interaction with his coaches wasn't, according to this article. It was not at all. But holy cow, man. I hear this narrative all the time, and it makes me nuts. It makes me nuts.
As I mentioned, and Paulie said, interesting question. Would this have all come out if Mike Shildt was staying around as he was expected to do? And he said, yeah, I'm back. I'm going to continue to serve out my contract. Would we have learned all this? The other thing that I want to know is, what if the Padres had continued to win and gone a couple of more rounds? Would he still have walked away?
That's the other interesting part.
From the Padres. If they had gotten to the World Series this year, would that have changed anything for Mike Shildt? Was it the fact that he exited, or, as was reported, he was thinking about this back in August, that his health was
Where
already...
did things start to turn sour? And end of August and into September.
Well, and
team wasn't playing a while.
Yeah, I mean, again, if he wins the World Series, he ain't leaving. Winning literally cures everything. It cures everything.
Because 20 of those people that talk to Kevin Acee maybe aren't talking if they win the World Series.
Of course, because they won a World Series.
Right.
I don't. Now we'll go through the article again. I don't think that Kevin Acee got many, if any, of those quotes or stories in the 24 hours since Mike Shildt resigned.
These are stories
from over the last 2 years.
Oh, yeah.
As manager of the Padres. So they had already expressed, their difficulties with Mike Shildt privately to people, and those stories were circulating around. They're not unknown to us either.
No. We experienced some of this. We absolutely experienced some of this. But, back to the winning cures everything.
I'm honestly surprised you guys weren't mentioned by name.
So am I. I actually was, too.
I'm dead ass serious.
Adam texted me, read this article. I go, did we get mentioned? He goes, just read it. I go, great. We got mentioned. But we didn't. I'm watching the playoffs. Freddie Freeman's body language after striking out was horrible. It was piss poor. Hung his head, kind of shuffled back to the dugout. You're not going to see one single solitary word. You know why? Freddie Freeman wins. He won, and he's winning. He's going to win another one. I saw Mookie Betts not run hard on a double play that not last night, the night before. Didn't run hard at all. Cadillac down to first base. Pissed off that he hit into a double play. Not going to see one word about it. And that's okay. You know why? Because they win. When Manny and Fernando win, no one's going to care. They have to, though. That's their legacy is defined by winning a World Series, as I think every friggin' player should be. And you got players out there like, I don't care. I don't think it's those guys. I think they really genuinely want to win. But you don't see that narrative out of other clubhouses. And I wonder why that is. Especially in Philly and places like that. You don't see it. You don't see it. And is Fernando Tatis Jr. the first baseball player to ever have bad body language and wear his heart on his sleeve when he doesn't get his way? No, PCA did it last week. He threw his bat and everyone goes, God, man, look at how gritty he is. I love the grittiness of that guy. If Manny does it, cancer. And that's BS. And that pisses me off every single year. Every single year we have this conversation. And it pisses me off and it's unfair. And it's a little bit dog whistly, if I'm being honest with you.
You're not wrong.
I know I'm not wrong.
You're not wrong.
I'm absolutely right. So it's, again, winning cures all. Mike Shildt is the skipper of the San Diego Padres in 2026 if they win the World Series. Hell, if they even got to the World Series, I think he's still the skipper. But you lose like that. You go out 2 years in a row when you feel like you should have advanced and the world starts crumbling on you and you can't take criticism and all that, as we read in the article and as we personally know. Yeah, man, your hair starts falling out. Your heart starts beating fast. You can't sleep. You're sick all the time. 100% you walk away. You leave money on the table. We'll talk about it. It's very, very interesting. Very interesting stuff.
Yeah, we will go through some of what AJ Preller had to say yesterday. Feels almost like old news now, 20 hours ago when he met with the media. There's certainly some interesting things there to go through, but see a lot of people in our chat who are trying to catch up. And if they have not read the Kevin Acee piece, let me just boil it down to one paragraph here, and then we will discuss coming up. Nearly 20 sources, 12 of them who worked with Shildt on a daily basis during the season, have in recent months characterized Shildt as unyieldingly demanding of his coaching staff and the team support staff, and as having a tendency to micromanage and possessing a quick temper that is easily triggered by questioning or feedback. And he goes on for, a couple thousand words on after that, with some specific instances and examples from anonymous sources within the team about, the difficulty of working with Mike Shildt, not for players, but for coaches and staff and front office members for the San Diego Padres, and why, things could sometimes be a grind in the San Diego Padres organization.
You can set your watch to these articles. October, you can set your watch to a Kershaw meltdown in the postseason and an article about the San Diego Padres being an unruly, impossible place to work. You can set your watch to it. We are so used to these. You should pull up all the other ones from the last 8 years since we've been a show. There's one every year. And until they win, there's going to be one every single year until that happens.
All right, let's take a time out. We'll get Kelly's check of traffic. Hopefully the roadways a little better than they were yesterday. And then we will jump right in to all the Padres news of the day. I know that's why you tune in here at 97.3 The Fan. Ben and Woods and Paul on a Wednesday morning on San Diego's #1 sports station, 97.3 The Fan.
Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. GEGE 000-466. For a full list of games and rules, play at 7 Mile Casino. Visit 7milecasino.com.
First up, though, Woods and I want to remind you, whatever time of day it is, dark, 6:25 a.m. on a Wednesday, if you're just getting off an overnight shift, you want a place to hang out, unwind, 7 Mile Casino is your 24/7 option in San Diego, a town that is not exactly known for its 24/7 options. We're not Vegas here.
It's very, very true. We are not Las Vegas. I'm glad that we're not Las Vegas, Benny. I'm glad that we are San Diego, and I'm glad that many, many Tier 1s have experienced 7 Mile Casino for themselves. If you haven't, make it a point to get down there, play some cards, or just go for lunch. Go for lunch, go for dinner, have a great time. Got a great view of the bay out on the patio. It's a smoke-free environment, so you're good there. No slot machines there. If you like slot machines, I'm not ripping on slot machines. I just don't want to hear it.
No, but like yesterday wasn't a patio day necessarily,
right.
But inside's really comfortable too. If it's not a great day, it's still a great day to go to 7 Mile Casino. They treat you well. If you're a high roller, high limit player, they have games spread for you on Texas Hold'em, California style blackjack. Good dealers, the little things that card players truly enjoy. They take care of them well at 7 Mile Casino. It's our place. Make it yours. 7 Mile Casino, just 7 minutes from downtown.
Hey, player, this is all yours. This room with this view. This speakeasy with this cocktail. Hey, could you make that too? The spa with this. Ah. And this pool on this roof. This is all for you. The all-new Hamul Casino Resort, now open.
One thing that has not changed in the last 24 hours, despite the intrigue of Kevin Acee's piece that we're going to discuss, Mike Shildt did, in fact, walk away from the job.
Yes.
On his own volition.
Yes.
Walked away from the money, the contract, and could have come back if he wanted to. Now, after this piece is out, we'll let you make the decision whether you think it's a good thing or a bad thing for the San Diego Padres that Mike Shildt is walking out the door. I think, as the piece indicates, a lot of good from Mike Shildt. Some changes in the organization, the culture, a lot of positive things that he brought over the last couple of years, but certainly some difficulty behind the scenes that was revealed in a very, very interesting piece that Kevin Acee wrote for the Union Tribune. We'll talk about that coming up over the next hour or so. We'll also get into last night's Game 2 of the National League Championship Series. Dodgers sure seem like they are on an uninterrupted run to a second straight World Series title. I get they still need to win 6 games, and we see teams the Phillies a couple of years ago coming to mind that looked like they were unbeatable. And then all of a sudden, it just kind of stops.
Yeah, the thing just...
They didn't have pitching like that.
But
no, they didn't. Nobody does. No, maybe nobody ever has. That is pretty... Again, I got a nice tweet from a Dodger fan yesterday. He goes, I appreciate Woodsy for what he said. I'm a hater, but I'm not an idiot. You can't watch that as a baseball fan and not go, God bless, that dude is locked in, man. Talking about Yamamoto and then, of course, talking about Snell. I go, yeah, I said it yesterday. I'll say it again today. Like, I'm a hater. I'm not an idiot. The guy was legendarily good, as was Blake Snell the night before. As Tyler Glasnow will probably be tomorrow.
We're used to seeing a team's 5-starter that nobody's ever heard of come out and shove against us. Well, he's a good pitcher.
Hey, tip
your cap. Like, dude, playoffs are different. When you got a guy like Yamamoto or Snell, like we haven't even seen Glasnow or Ohtani in the series yet.
Right.
You're like, how does that team lose?
You can't.
When you
and
can
if they did, it's the biggest failure of all time.
You
because
can
they're
throw
unreal.
Yamamoto and Snell alone. You could throw them 4 times.
Yeah, it's nuts, man.
Yeah, we also can talk about something you texted us during the game last night is what the Brewers. I mean, they have one weakness. You have to get into their bullpen. You got to find a way to make their starting pitchers work a little bit more. They can't be going into the 8th and 9th inning.
You guys have
80, 90 pitches.
pitches.
You can't. There's no chance to beat the Dodgers this way.
Isn't that such a symptom of what happens to teams in the playoffs? They try to go outside of what they're good at. Now, again, playing contact, patient baseball, not easy to do when you're looking across the field and you got the LA Dodgers staring you down, Benny. So they got out of their game plan, and Yamamoto is out there throwing 9-pitch innings, and you're done. You're absolutely cooked.
We'll talk about that. We've got a Padres smorgasbord at 7:35. AJ Preller yesterday in his news conference said he believes this is a very attractive managerial opening, maybe the most attractive managerial opening in baseball. So we're going to go through and see if that claim rings true to us. And if it is, then what are the best jobs available? What are the worst jobs available right now? There's currently 8 openings for managers in Major League Baseball.
Okay.
And I didn't get the sense from AJ yesterday that the Padres will be one of the first to fill that opening.
No, I didn't get that either.
Feels like it's going to be
a few weeks at least.
Yeah, it's going to be, he said, a thorough process. They're just compiling their list of people to interview now.
He also said his phone was blowing up with people asking for the job. That doesn't surprise me in the slightest.
Then they'll go through probably interviews, then probably cut it down to 2 or 3 and do a second round of interviews. He mentioned, we don't have to have someone in place by, say, the GM meetings. Those are usually at the end of November, I believe.
Is that when they are?
Early to middle, like second
late
week
November. So, maybe it's by then. Maybe it's just after then. But it certainly sounds like, don't expect like before the World Series or anything. This isn't Texas Rangers situation where there's going to be a manager in place in 3 days for the San Diego Padres. Sounds like it's going to be a longer process than that. Coming up in the second half of Ben and Woods, appearing on our David P. Shapiro fan hotline, Jordan Schustman, our friend from Cespedes Family Barbecue. Of course, longtime Mariners fan covering the
Such a good dude.
ALCS.
Happy for him.
For Yahoo and their website. Very exciting, certainly series. And the Mariners will try to take a 3-0 lead at home, try to get to their first World Series. Can do that in just the next couple of days if they continue playing the way they will. It'll be fun to talk to Jordan about that at 8:35. All guests on Ben and Woods appear on the David P. Shapiro fan hotline. Facing criminal charges, trust David P. Shapiro criminal defense attorneys, helping clients regain control since 2010. Visit davidpshapirolaw.com. And then around everything, our regular segments like Don't Do This, Take on Woods, and the Rindle Report as we head toward 10 o'clock this morning. But let's check traffic, get into the juicy meat of what was
I love
dropped
juicy
last
meat.
night. Well, that's why you're making a pot roast at home.
How did you gain all the weight?
From juicy meats.
Coming up next year on 97.3 The Fan.
From the 855 Get Ross Traffic Center, protecting San Diego after accidents or injury, here's Kelly Danick.
This game day traffic report is brought to you by Crystal Geyser, Alpine Spring Water. Crash in Lakeside, northbound 67 before Riverford Road. Car and motorcycle involved. They're in the center divide. Also, watch out for a stalled car. It's been pushed over the right shoulder, northbound 15 before Miramar Way. Also, it might be a good idea to leave a little extra time for travel this morning, guys, due to yesterday's rains, which have moved on for the most part. You might still find some slick roadways and some flooded areas. So, yeah, just be extra careful out there. What makes Crystal Geyser Alpine Spring Water different? They always bottle their Alpine Spring Water less than 1.5 miles from the spring source. And all of their bottles are made with 50% recycled plastic from their own recycling plants. Crystal Geyser, bottled at the spring source. I'm Kelly Danick with Ben and Woods, San Diego's #1 sports station, 97.3 The Fan.
For good or bad, yeah, it's soap opera at Petco Park. And it doesn't mean that the Padres are necessarily doing things wrong. This is entertainment, after all. Are you not entertained?
I mean,
Padres
if you're not
fans?
entertained, I don't know what to tell you. I don't know what to tell you.
But, yeah, for the revelations from last night. And let's start with what is probably considered maybe a bombshell around baseball, although I
Can
get
you
this,
do it in soap opera voice? A bombshell.
a bombshell
around
Major
League Baseball. How dare you?
I do think it was probably well known inside baseball why Mike Shildt was fired by the St. Louis Cardinals.
Yeah.
After successful seasons.
Yeah, you heard philosophical differences.
That was the official explanation.
That is a very broad term. Was it philosophical about, like, if all of a sudden, Ben, you decided, Woodsy, I want to pivot in a different direction. I want to go straight NBA and NFL. I would say, I quit. I don't want to be here. If we got fired and hired by another place that said, I want you guys to do NBA and NFL exclusively, I would say, I quit. I don't want to do that. Right? That's a philosophical difference. Or was it, we can't deal with his personality and he doesn't like our personality? Or was it both?
And according to the reporting from Kevin Acee, that the real reason the Cardinals let go of Mike Shildt was that his entire coaching staff threatened to quit and walk away if they did not.
Good Lord.
Because he was that difficult to work for in St. Louis.
Okay.
Now, the Padres hired him after that for a non-managerial role, player development, something that Shildt is unquestionably passionate about,
so good at,
and has devoted his life to, and says it often, talking about how he's a steward of the players and their careers and trying to help them get the most out of their careers and their lives.
I believe it
100%.
Whole hog. I'd crank that hog. I absolutely believe that whole hog, that he lives and dies with making players better. I fully believe it. So I'm in.
It's an admirable quality.
No question.
A very admirable quality that Mike Shildt had on display in his 4 years with the San Diego Padres organization. And I firmly believe it's one of the reasons the Padres have had success.
Correct.
3 playoff appearances in these last 4 years. Mike Shildt helped this organization move forward because of some of his beliefs and even maybe some of his methods that were met with resistance. But just like in St. Louis, once he became the manager, the coaching staff bristled at, his methods, and his personality at times was very difficult to deal with. And that's what this piece by Kevin Acee kind of details in many thousands of words.
The one thing that's so weird to me is that it seems that Preller and Shildt were the perfect match, because Mike Shildt devoted 24 hours a day to baseball, just like AJ Preller does. For me, working for a guy like AJ Preller, you couldn't do it if you had 2 small kids at home. You shouldn't do it if you have 2 small kids at home. You shouldn't. This should not be the job for you. Mike Shildt was a perfect fit for the AJ Preller style of, I live it, I breathe it, I eat it, I sleep it, I'll be in early, I'll stay late, whatever you need. It should have been a perfect match. And I think by all accounts, their relationship is still pretty good, is what they said, both of them. And so, but when it comes to, Ben, dealing with the people that are quote unquote under you, this is where things got a little squirrely with Shildt.
Yeah, according to Kevin Acee, there was 2 sides of Mike Shildt. With the players, he would be, supportive and cordial.
Yep.
With his coaches and staff members, the opposite.
That's
he
tough.
said, sometimes within a matter of seconds, quote, as he berated a staff member before walking out to the clubhouse with a smile on his face. And it became very difficult for many of the coaches to deal with that.
That's a creepy thought. Like when I read that, I was kind of like
skeeved. The skeeves a little bit.
Because I can also 100% believe it and kind of see it playing out in my brain.
Yeah, that's why I said when I saw this, I none of this was a shock to me at all. He's done it to me before in the dugout once. I've told the story many times.
Well, here's the quote, and tell your story.
Yeah.
But the quote is, the Padres enlisted people internally to work with Shildt regarding his penchant to snap at colleagues and even superiors who he perceived were questioning him. According to multiple sources, plan for the offseason was for there to be more discussions and work done regarding his interactions with staff and media.
It was the weirdest thing that ever happened to me ever. I told the story, I think, like the next day, because I took it pretty lightly at the time. But you read this stuff and then you're like, I mean, I've seen it. The Vetter Cup thing was going down. We had him on a Friday, and I was like, big Pearl Jam fan, right? I'm a music guy, and he laughed and we played along and we played it up. And he's like, yeah, get me a T-shirt. I go, I got one for you. I'll bring you a Pearl Jam shirt, right? Then they go out, they lose all 3 games to the Seattle Mariners. So next week we're in the dugout, and I'm like, Shilty, I got that Pearl Jam shirt for you. And he turns to me, Ben, and he stares a dagger through me, and he goes, you can't tell, just twist the knife, thinking that I was talking S.
You guys
and
lost
saying,
to
you
the
guys
Mariners,
lost to the Mariners.
So
here's your Pearl
shirt.
Jam shirt, right? But that's not what it was. It was simply a callback to an interview we did of, hey, I got your Pearl Jam shirt. I can bring it for you. And he thought he took it really personally. And I go, and then I saw it. On the turn of a dime. Is that a phrase? He turned on a dime, and you could see he's like, oh God, there's people around. I can't rip this kid in half. I can't rip this guy in half right now because there's people. And then he started laughing and like, patted me on the back. And I was standing there going, no, that's not what I was talking about. And you saw it, man, just this quick temper, quick to react, like, what? Your question, like you're sticking in the knife. I'm like, no, that's not what it is. I'm a ball breaker. That I wasn't even breaking balls. I was just a callback. So none of this really surprised me, man. I saw it.
And of course, we personally were very interested in a specific part of Kevin Acee's piece, and that was how Shildt's interactions with the media were in many ways telling of what was going on behind the scenes. And he wrote, people all over the organization regularly tuned in to watch Shildt's post-game news conferences. Their curiosity was not so much about the manager's insight into the game as much as they wanted to see what happened when the manager was questioned. Shildt treated many queries as if they were personal attacks. Even innocuous questions could cause him to lash out, either acting as if the question had no basis or causing him to rail against perceived slights. What unfolded in the interview room would be viewed by those who worked for and with Shildt with head shaking and sometimes with gallows humor. Yeah, we felt it a few times, certainly over the last couple of years. So again, we weren't shocked by anything that Kevin Acee wrote in this piece yesterday. Although for me, maybe the extent of it surprised me a little bit because I didn't realize that maybe behind the scenes there were so many employees, staff members that felt that way about, Shildt's ire and temper behind the scenes, because he did not show that off publicly. He was very careful, as you said, like to not let that side of him show unless it was behind closed doors.
Yeah, for sure. Padres Pat says, everyone in SD Media told us immediately there's more to the story than just Shildt health issues, but you boys took that story at face value. You three should be apologizing to your listeners today. I will not apologize to my listeners because
I pushed back.
It's still 100% true. Mike Shildt's health, and
I said something's fishy, something doesn't sound right.
But
it's
still why he walked away, though.
We knew all this.
I didn't know it was that bad with his staff.
Again, he
walked away.
It was his choice to walk away because of his health. I don't think that is untrue at all.
I don't either.
Now, why was his health so bad? Because,
he's beefing with his staff,
people he was working with were frustrated with him, and he was frustrated back at what he felt like was he didn't think he was being treated fairly necessarily by his staff.
So
that
again,
they were, why are you complaining? I'm trying to make you better. I'm trying to win. Isn't that the job here? That was his point. And I think fans, that will resonate with some fans.
Pat, I would apologize to you if it came out that Mike Shildt was fired.
Exactly.
I would have totally be like, hey, I bought it hook, line, and sinker. I really would. I'd say, oh man, I can't believe I'll always admit I'm wrong. I'm not wrong on this. He walked away and said, I don't want to deal with it anymore. I don't want to deal with it. And if you hear those rumors that like, hey man, we're going to have to sit in a room this off season, we're going to have to drill down on this stuff some more. I don't have it in me. I don't have it in me to do. He doesn't like to be questioned. That's okay. But I think it didn't change anything for me. Nothing. It's stuff I already knew. It's stuff that I experienced personally, Pat. I saw it. We all saw it. If you ever listened to the show on a Friday, you heard it. So I think it doesn't change one single thing for me. I do think he was tired of the garbage. I do think his hair was falling out. I do think he was unwell. And I do think he got death threats. People did say that. Like, it's not fun. I, as a radio host, have gotten weird ransom letters sent to my home. It's weird. It's weird. It's not going to make me quit. But I think he just didn't. I'll say this, and I think I could say this, like, as someone that's experienced some of this. I've learned from a lot of the mistakes I made in the past. I've made changes. I've worked really hard to make changes. I don't think Shildt did.
He pretty much admits in the article that
he's not.
didn't.
He wasn't going to.
Kevin took quotes from Mike right after he was fired by St. Louis and took the advisor role here in San Diego, kind of looking back at what happened. And, because the Cardinals didn't really say, they just had philosophical differences. And he has direct quotes from Shildt. Yeah, I got to change how I do things a little bit. I can understand how some things might have rubbed guys the wrong way.
Yeah.
And then it's like 2 years later, nothing changed. And he even goes, yeah, I can admit I probably do things a little bit differently.
Well,
I rub people the wrong way.
Like,
if
you don't learn from the mistakes that torpedoed you in the past, it's on you. It really, like, if you're given another chance, and if he gets another chance in baseball, I hope he learns from these past two. And again, I don't want to tap dance on the dude, because I had a tremendous amount of fun with Mike Shildt at times. And again, I hope we're not sitting in here in a year from now going, man, we won 83 games this year and missed the playoffs.
I'm going to say something that sounds pretty insane right now, given this article and everything we're reading. I think AJ Preller made a good hire 2 years ago
too.
with Mike Shildt. And I wouldn't change it. I wouldn't go back.
Same.
He made a good hire, and Mike Shildt did good things for this organization. And now
I think he made a good hire with Bob Melvin, and it just soured. He took us as far as anybody other manager has taken us.
I think
things were great in 2022.
I think with Melvin, there was a bit of a early disconnect that AJ didn't see coming.
I'm saying he hired the manager. The manager brought success to San Diego. That was successful. Jace Tingler was not a successful.
And that was a bad hire.
And perhaps
there was no future there.
The Padres are catching a break that Mike Shildt is leaving on his own, and that they can now move on.
I'm telling you,
take the good and move on from Mike Shildt.
Because listen, if he had stayed and it would have been 2 more years of this, that would have been really, I think, honestly, that everybody, himself included, I think everybody dodged a bullet here, and we move on, right? Very interesting stuff, though. Very, very interesting.
All right. If you have thoughts, you can obviously join our YouTube stream. We will talk more about this as we continue on. We'll also get to Game 2 of the NLCS last night. More Dodger dominance. We're just 1 hour in. Woo! Good start to the day on a Wednesday. Bennett Woods and Paul on San Diego's #1 sports station, 97.3 The Fan. I would think, Woods, you, maybe more than anyone, would agree with Mike Shildt. Here's one of the quotes he had in Kevin Acee's piece. Because remember, this wasn't just Kevin Acee writing on his own. He talked with Mike Shildt for 2 hours.
Yeah, 2 hours on the phone.
And got many quotes from Mike. And this one in particular stood out to me. Mike Shildt said, I can accept that I had high standards and I held people to a high standard for the betterment of the players and organization. That's my job. I am completely aware I challenged the staff.
Yeah.
He's not denying he was hard on his colleagues, his coaches, and his staff.
Yeah.
And now radio and baseball are totally different things.
Sure.
But I have worked in radio now for a quarter of a century, almost 30 years now. Wow, I'm getting old. No one I have ever worked with has had a higher standard than you have.
Thank you. I take that as a compliment.
It is a compliment.
I agree 100%.
Thank you both. I take that as a compliment. You
raised the bar.
Sometimes it can make you difficult
agreed
to work with and frustrating to work
Sure.
with.
Absolutely.
But you want to win.
Yeah.
And you want to do a good job.
Yeah.
And you feel like, now you're not the manager.
No.
So that makes it awkward sometimes.
Sometimes.
But I think sometimes you'd like to hold everybody in this building, sales, our managers, people above you, people below you, to a higher standard if you could.
Indeed.
That's it. That's a very Shildt-like quality that you possess.
But I also take into account my experiences when I started and how psychotically and poorly I was treated at times. And I try to remember that, as I move forward in relationships, and I think I've done that. But I liked this part of the article a lot. His methods was the subtitle. Shildt helped make the Padres better. Everyone said that. No one said the team would be better without him, though plenty were looking forward to the opportunity to do so, which is totally a shot. Some of the coaches that had the biggest beef with Shildt also said he made me a better coach. I mean, we've all had people in our lives. And in fact, I think back to my first radio experience. It was not a good one. It put me in severe turmoil. Severe. Never had a panic attack in my life till I started this job. Never had anxiety, nothing. But you know what? I took the good and I left the bad. And I took the lessons and it made me a much better host and a much better teammate on all that. I took the good, all the things I learned and applied them instead of bringing the, Paulie, why are you blinking? You're blinking a lot. When you blink, that means you didn't sleep last night. You failed comedy school. These are all the things that I heard. I would never do that to you. I would never do that to you. Like those are the things that I said, I'm leaving those by the wayside, but I'm going to take the discipline that it takes. I'm going to take the projection, the content, all of that stuff. I'm going to take those lessons and ride and see what happens. But, difficult is one thing. Psychotic is a totally different thing. And I'm not calling Mike Shildt psychotic. I'm saying I've had some really psychotic experiences. But Benny, again, I think if you didn't learn from the previous one and you didn't learn from, or you haven't yet, gotten the opportunity to learn from this one, that's the tough part for me. You want to see growth. What did Major Garrett say when we had him in? If you ripen,
the second you start ripening, you start rotting.
Correct. Something like that. And it made sense in my head when he said it. But if there's no growth and there's no adjustment, and things get spiraling out of control, it's tough. And listen, just as we are guys that we did managers report every day or every Friday for a year. Then it was every other Friday. The year one working with Shildt, you just didn't know what to expect. And it gave me agita, man. It kept me up at night. I had panic attacks about it. Like it was really gnarly. And then it wasn't. Like everything was fine last year. We had some fun. We butted some heads. Sure. He didn't like some questions. I didn't like some answers, but that's normal. These are all the normal things that happen in the course of the baseball season. But turns out, the not wanting to be questioned, even with superiors and things like that, that's when you can run into trouble. And I think that's what happened.
I think we all, want the Padres to have success going forward. And I think it is imperative that you hold on to the good things that Mike Shildt brought.
100%.
The high standards are
Yes.
critical.
It's critical.
You can't be successful without those high standards. Can you also do it in a better atmosphere that fosters a little more, positivity? I think it is possible. But you can't just say, yeah, no, whatever makes you happy, whatever, whatever you're feeling like today. You have to have high standards in that job. There's no successful coach, manager in sports, Paulie, right? That wins without high standards and being a little bit demanding at times.
I mean, it's just there's such a wide spectrum when it comes to, like, at least right now in this example, we're talking about professional sport coaches. Like, there's a difference between Nick Saban and Bobby Knight. They probably have a lot in common, but their methods are probably completely different.
I bet they're more similar than you think. I really do.
You know what? I was at San Diego State yesterday and interviewing a couple of the players who have been with the program for a while. Miles Bird, Reese Dixon Waters.
Yes, Reese Dixon Waters.
And talking about Brian Dutcher. Dutch is a real nice guy, but he has high standards and is demanding of his players. You think he's not? You think because he's Midwest and,
right.
He's smiling and he's polite and he doesn't, use bad language in front of you that he doesn't have high standards and he's demanding of his players and he expects them to be on time and working hard. The Aztecs work so hard. I mean, they work on defense and practice. You know how fun I played basketball for a while. Working on defense in practice is the worst.
The absolute worst part of basketball is basketball defense practice. Your back hurts so bad.
And the Aztecs do it probably more than any other college basketball team in America. It sucks. And Dutch makes him do it all the time. What a tough... But he also is, a supportive, caring, and nurturing person.
I think, real quick,
but Shildt is that way to his players. He's that way. He's absolutely that way to his players. There's no question.
Shildt seems like the kind of guy who probably gives really good advice, help, teaching, whatever you want to call it, but doesn't take his own advice, doesn't take his own medicine, doesn't practice what he preaches.
I love something that Acee said that Shildt did with his coaches. He said before the season, he had all of his coaches like write out and come in like, what did they want out of their careers and how can I help you get to where you want to go?
That's exactly right.
I mean, who doesn't want that in a leader and a manager? There's a lot of good there with Mike Shildt.
I just can see him grabbing whatever player you want to throw into this hypothetical and just put his arm around him. Hey man, don't worry about the outside noise. Don't worry about what anyone said. You got this. But I don't think he can do that.
Right.
He can't do that.
Yeah. He had a hard time doing it.
And I think that's a human thing to not, not a great apples and oranges, but like my wife is very good at helping me with stuff, but like won't do it herself. You know what I mean? Like take care, take this medicine. I'm like, well, you sound like you're sick. Have you taken this medicine? You would have told me to take this medicine. You take the medicine.
Kez says in the chat, I don't like a leader who berates people lesser than him, which I agree with you. But according to Kevin Acee, he did it to his superiors as well.
Right.
Which, I don't know if that means AJ, Grupner, ownership. Mike Shildt was not afraid to go to the people who paid him and say,
yeah, and guess what?
I don't like it. He'll snap at them too.
Guess what? If he won a World Series, they'd be writing books about what a great leader he is. This is how dumb it is. They'd be writing books about the iron fist on which he ruled. And if he won two in a row, if he wins 2 World Series in a row, they would be writing books about, Mike should be him on the cover, leadership, the Mike Shildt way. Right? Am I wrong?
Yeah.
Here?
And 100%. Guess what? If the Padres find a way to score 3 runs in game 5 of the division series last year against the Dodgers, Dave Roberts is out of a job, and the Padres probably go on to win a World Series, and history is completely flipped. And it all
different.
It all comes down to one game,
2 games, but
or 2 games, but really that one game that the inability to hit against Yoshinobu Yamamoto, which is now defining the Milwaukee Brewers' current history as well as their inability to hit Blake Snell in the first 2 games of the NLCS.
Yeah, for sure. And again, AJ was quick to point out too yesterday, and I agree with this 100%. Like, if there were beefs and things like that in the clubhouse, it's pretty standard, right? You spend that much time with people, but again, if you're not, Mike would always talk about a lot being an elite adjusting team, and he didn't do that. He didn't clearly adjust
Good point.
You know, his attitude, and then the team didn't adjust much this year. He didn't, and he was kind of in charge of that. He wouldn't, and we would ask him, like, you know, this lineup decision or this guy not playing, you know, there was no real adjustments, and it was stubbornness, you know. And the quote that will live with me, it lives in my head, is the Johnson City quote. That's the quote for me that I went, he's lost the plot, you know, in the playoffs. He doesn't get it. That's the one for me that I completely said, okay, like, he's at his wit's end when he said, it doesn't matter. I put 6 lefties in a lineup in Johnson City and we won the league. Well, you know, as I said the next morning, this isn't Johnson City. You know, this is the big leagues, and they have guys that can get your 3 lefties out, but there was just no adjustment there. And that quote for me was the one where I went, all right, I clearly have never, it's never going to jive with me.
So because I felt the same way as a fan. I was pretty turned off towards the end of the season with the stubbornness and not sure that anything would change next year. You know, if Mike Shilt's here, I wouldn't be surprised if he's pushing for a Luis Ariz contract extension. He's back in the 2-hole playing first base next year.
Yep.
And that kind of concerned me quite a bit, actually.
Yeah, for sure.
So now I ask you, and I understand we got to wait and see who replaces Mike Shildt, but are the Padres better off in 2026 without Mike Shildt, or would they be better with Mike Shildt, knowing all that we know?
Okay, knowing
and how you felt at the end of the season.
Knowing what you know, absolutely. Dodged a bullet. Because if he's not committed and doesn't think he's got it in him to do it, then no, you don't want that guy as the skipper. You at all.
Jace Tingler's fellow coaches love Jace Tingler.
Sure.
I mean, you can't just hire someone who's going to make the staff and the coaches happy. They also have to have the expertise and whatever it takes to be able to win for the San Diego Padres. You're not going to be successful just by hiring another Jace Tingler, who is good at fostering
suggesting that
positivity. It's got to be more than that. It really does. You have to hold on to the good that Mike Shildt brought.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's a career suicide for AJ Preller if he makes the no-name hire, the third base coach of some single A franchise. You know what I mean? Like, that was where Tingler came out of nowhere. If you want to throw out a first-time manager entirely, I guess you can have that conversation. But, like, I don't know. AJ Ellis, if he were to get the job, Ruben Niebla would be a first-time manager. That's a little bit different than bringing in Jace Tingler, because we all go, who was that?
Yeah, who the fudge?
Who the fudge is Jace Tingler?
Jace Tingler.
I won't say that about Ruben Niebla, I promise.
No, we know Ruben very well, but I think, you know, I think you're in. Well, again, the question is, if you knowing what you know now and how just frazzled he was at the end of the year. Yeah, I'm glad that he is looking after his health and is moving on.
You don't want someone coming back who's frazzled and who's not healthy and is not in a good mental space. So yes, that's a good thing. The Padres can move on to something else.
No doubt.
As Paulie said,
forget the health. I'm talking about the tyrant type atmosphere that he harbors.
Yeah,
is that good or bad?
No, it's not good.
It's fine if you win. Again, it's fine if you win. All of it works if you win. At the end of the year, hey, sorry I yelled at you. Give me that bottle of bubbly. Let's pour it on each other and drink some Budweisers together and have a great time. Everything is fine if you win. Manny's not a diva. Toddy's not a diva. All that crap goes away if you win a World Series. It sounds simple. It's not, obviously, to win a World Series. But all of those narratives, they're dead on the vine when that happens. It's too big F you fingers to everybody. I did it the right way because we won. There's an infallible way to end all of it. Win. That's it. That's it.
I think ultimately, you know, when I think of Mike Shildt and when I think of him going forward, I'm going to remember a man who maybe worried too much about what was being said about him. But at the same time, and this applies to you, Woods, and Paul, our job, and probably most people, you can't worry too much about what people are saying and thinking, but you can't not worry about it at all.
Correct.
Because
it's a hard line,
both ends of the spectrum, if you don't worry about at all what people are saying or thinking, you're also psychotic. But if you only or worry too much about what people are saying, you'll go off the rails that way. Yeah, and where is the sweet spot? I mean, I think we struggle to find it sometimes as well. We care what the audience, the tier ones, say about us, but we can't care all the time
Can't-
about it every day, or we'd go crazy.
It can't dictate
It
your,
can't.
your show.
But if we just said, screw what the audience thinks, we wouldn't be very good at our jobs
Correct.
either. You have to find the feeling somewhere in the middle of caring for the people that what kind of, what they think of you, especially your colleagues that you work with. You can't just ignore that, but you also can't let it define you as well and not be yourself. There's a middle ground, and we all have to find it.
Yeah. Agree.
Fun
All right.
stuff this week. Fun stuff.
Ooh,
Man,
Wednesday? Just Wednesday?
it's
Is this
just
where we are?
Wednesday.
Not even quite halfway through this week. Don't Do This is coming up next. Let's talk about the Pfister. We need a little levity in our life.
Pfister? Yeah, absolutely.
Absolutely.
There's never
talk
going to
about
be a
the
time
Pfister.
on this show that you want to talk about the Pfister, and I'll say no. Ever. That is, you have carte blanche. Okay.
That, of course, is the hotel where visiting teams stay in Milwaukee, including for the National League Championship Series. The last couple of days have more. We know Mookie doesn't stay there.
Correct.
Now we've got another Dodger.
Another
who
Dodger out of
doesn't
the
want to
Pfister.
stay with his team.
Who doesn't want to go to the Pfister? They'd have to keep me out of there.
That is coming up next with Ben and Woods on San Diego's #1 sports station, 97.3 The Fan.
Quickly, let me tell you guys about QC Kinetics. I know that you've seen my television commercial. If you watch TV, they've gotten a lot of mileage out of the QC Kinetics commercial. And they had me swinging a golf club at the time, but I could have easily been a baseball bat or a guitar or holding a kid in each arm, all things I couldn't do when I had very damaged and painful wrists. But went to QC Kinetics, met with Dr. Jackson and his team, and they fixed me up. I absolutely love that place. I know if something in one of my joints doesn't feel right, I can go there, get the treatment, and it's super, super simple. Simple injection, not a hospital stay, fast, all natural. There's no downtime. So if your knees, back, shoulders, any of that stuff keeping you from enjoying your life, explore all your options before you agree to more pills or more surgery. Dr. Jackson, a former orthopedic surgeon, this guy has seen it all. He knows all about it. So call QC Kinetics today, schedule a free consultation, and take charge of your health. Look beyond the same old solutions. First consultation's free. No reason to wait. Call QC Kinetics now. Locations in Hillcrest and Torrey Hills, 619-614-PAIN, 619-614-PAIN. That's 619-614-PAIN. It's QC Kinetics.
right, player. This is all yours. This room with this view. This speakeasy with this cocktail. Hey, could you make that too? This spa with this. Ah. And this pool on this roof. This is all for you. The all-new Hamul Casino Resort. Now open.
Got a Padres smorgasbord coming up in just a few minutes. Is the Padres job really the most attractive managerial opening in baseball? First, though, it's time for Don't Do This. It is brought to you by Trust and Will.
Don't.
Leave your entire estate, house, kids, and life savings up to chance if and when you die.
No.
Set up a Trust or Will online at trustandwill.com. There's a lot more affordable than you think, Joe.
Trust and Will.
Visit trustandwill.com for more info.
Get a trust, folks.
Not nearly as loud and
Get a
excited
trust,
as he would be.
folks. Get a trust, folks. I'm honing it. I'll be able to do a full game by next year.
Quick update on a story from earlier
We're
this
gonna have
week.
to watch him call another Dodgers World Series.
Yeah.
Right.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. When you think jump right into our nightmare. The water is warm for all of us in San Diego, but at least we live in San Diego. That's the one thing we can always fall back on. This is an update to the Don't Do This story of Brian Branch, who went after Juju Smith-Schuster and slapped him upside the head, inciting a massive brawl the other night in the Chiefs against the Lions game. He has been suspended for one game for his aggressive and entirely unwarranted outburst. Did you guys see the block that Schuster put on him?
Yeah.
Would have pissed me off too. It would have pissed me off completely. Undercut his legs, then stepped over him after. Refs missed all of that, of course. So after the game, he went up to him. Hey, bud, nice game. Whoosh, slapped him upside the head instead. And he's going to have to do a game, but he will appeal. And so, look, no excuse. Obviously, you got to control yourself. You're professional. But I kind of understood.
Yeah, but even his own coach.
His coach was mad, dude.
You can't let it get to you. You got to keep your head about you.
Yeah.
Story number 2. I think things are getting out of control. I know you think it's funny. Jesse Agler brought us some souvenirs, mugs from the Pfister Hotel. It's where the Padres and other visiting teams stay in Milwaukee.
Pfister? Yeah, absolutely.
It's a historic,
how's this
more than 100-year-old hotel that has a reputation for perhaps being haunted. So much so that players like Mookie Betts famously won't stay there. He'll get an Airbnb when the team is in Milwaukee rather than stay with the team at the hotel. Now, according to reporting from our friend Jesse Rogers, as well as Bob Nightingale from USA Today, Teoscar Hernandez is also not staying at the hotel. Now, he doesn't think it's haunted, but his wife does.
His wife does. So
And
that
because,
pretty much means he
families-
thinks it's haunted.
Families travel with the team in the playoffs. He's going, I can't stay there either. So he's off on his own as well. But here, I thought some very interesting reporting in USA Today. The truth, one former MLB executive says, is that it's often, and these are lights going on and off, TVs, mysteriously going on and off during the night. It's often just gags being played by teammates. The doors to the rooms on the older side of the hotel don't go all the way to the floor, leaving about a 1/4-inch gap from the bottom. So guys will take their TV remotes from their rooms, go around to other player and staff rooms in the middle of the night, clicking TVs under their doors. I've seen a ton over the years. That's where the whole haunted thing started back in the day. So the hotel is not haunted? He goes, not haunted, he said. Players are actually taking their TV remotes and turning on and off TVs in other rooms from under the door just to spook their teammates while they're in Milwaukee.
Don't buy it at all, even a little bit.
Pfister? Yeah, absolutely.
I've read stories of the Pfister. Giancarlo Stanton. Who's bigger and tougher than Giancarlo Stanton? No one is bigger than tougher than Giancarlo Stanton. He said, man, quote, I hate when we have 4 games there. 2, 3, anything's better than 4.
His quote was,
it's freaky as S. With the headshot paintings on the walls and the old curtains everywhere.
well, that was like the Airbnb in Arizona with the baby picture. It is creepy, but it's not haunted. There's a difference between creepy and haunted.
It reminds me of the Disneyland haunted house. The less time I'm there, the better, which is a ringing endorsement for the Pfister.
I will fully accept the hotel may be a little dated and creepy. Doesn't make it haunted, just like our Airbnb was very creepy.
Beyond.
But it wasn't haunted.
Beyond.
All right, finally, a little do this.
DD mega doo-doo.
As baseball fans, I think we can all take this as good news. Reportedly, TV ratings for the playoffs are higher than they've been in 15 years. The numbers coming out of Fox, MLB, and ESPN for the first couple of rounds of the series, through the roof. Viewership is averaging 4.33 million through the division series, a 30% increase over last year. Last Friday's 15-inning thriller, remember, this is a Friday night, averaged almost 9 million viewers on Fox. For that game, was watched by everywhere. That's the most watched division round game in 14 years. And this is good news for baseball as they head toward, labor negotiations and everything coming. More revenue is good. Now, I do get the sense that we may be losing a little momentum here in these playoffs.
Yeah, because both teams are up 2-0. They've stolen. Each team has stolen 2 on the road. Both teams look pretty locked in. I still give the Blue Jays a shot to win a game here or there. I don't.
Maybe a gentleman's sweep.
I don't give the Brewers a shot to do anything. I really don't.
And I think we are approaching Dodger fatigue. Now, there's a lot of Dodgers fans, so they'll keep the numbers, I think, okay. But isn't there a part of you that is like, I don't want to watch the Dodgers, especially with Joe Davis calling another World Series win for the Dodgers? Is that not going to hurt baseball?
I don't think
An all
so.
West Coast series?
That's going to hurt us.
It'll hurt us. I don't think it'll hurt the ratings.
Will a
Dodgers
West Coast
are good for.
Will West Coast series be bad for ratings? Seattle and Los Angeles.
Maybe, but I think
Who cares?
it doesn't really. Baseball's on fire right now, and I think again, you have Shohei Ohtani, you have these massive stars on your team. Ultimately, baseball is going to benefit ratings-wise from the Dodgers being in the World Series. There's no question. I'm not saying that. Believe me, I'm not saying there's some conspiracy to get them in. They're really good.
Yeah,
like they're elite.
Every October we do this. We're like, what matchups? Oh, MLB doesn't want that matchup.
Right.
Who gives an S?
I
You
know.
don't care what the ratings are.
I don't care what the ratings are.
Nobody
I couldn't
does.
care less.
Not
I'll,
you, but
I'll be watching regardless.
I want baseball to be healthy.
It is very
It's
healthy.
extremely
it's
healthy.
massively healthy.
And it wouldn't
right
be less healthy if it was
Dodgers,
two
Mariners.
small market teams.
Right. now. Or if
Brewers, Mariners.
right.
They lucked into Dodgers Yankees last year. That was a clear
bonanza
win for Major League Baseball.
for sure.
Not going to be that this year.
No, but Dodgers will be there. Book it.
And that is don't and do this for a Wednesday.
That was Don't Do This with Ben and Woods on 97.3 The Fan.
Who's ready for a Padres smorgasbord? Is it the most attractive managerial opening in baseball? What about the other ones? We'll go through the 8 openings and discuss which ones we think managers want to go after, which ones are not quite as attractive. We'll get to all of that coming up next on San Diego's #1 sports station, 97.3 The Fan. First, though, talk about daily fantasy. My app is Prize Picks. I've been doing it for over a year now, getting into my second football season here, my second basketball season getting underway. It's very easy to play with Prize Picks, where you can cash in on games you're already watching on television. Make your picks in less than 60 seconds. Turn your takes into cash all season long on Prize Picks. You're just setting lineups against stat projections, against the numbers. You look at your app. There'll be a ton of different boards, squares, and it'll be more or less. Whatever numbers you're looking at, if it's rushing yards, receiving yards, in basketball, points, rebounds, assists, they're all there. It's the games you're watching, and it's a chance to turn your sports watching into real money. If you have a particular player you really enjoy, like, say, Steph Curry, Prize Picks now offers stacks, meaning you can pick the same player up to 3 times in the same lineup. So Steph Curry points, 3-pointers, and assists, you can put all of those into a lineup on Prize Picks. When you win, easy to get your money out, offering Venmo, Apple Pay, and MasterCard. And speaking of that, it's easy to get some extra money into your account when you download the Prize Picks app today. Use code KWFN to get $50 in lineups when you play your first $5 lineup. That's code KWFN to get $50 in lineups when you play your first $5 lineup. Prize Picks, it's good to be right. Must be present in certain states. Visit prizepicks.com for details.
Hey, player, this is all yours. This room with this view. This speakeasy with this cocktail. Hey, could you make that too? The spa with this. Ah. And this pool on this roof. This is all for you. The all-new Hamul Casino Resort, now open.
Looking forward to having Jordan Schustman join us from Cespedes Family Barbecue, talking baseball, ALCS, and more. Coming up 1 hour from now at 8:35. All guests on Ben & Woods appear on the David P. Shapiro fan hotline. Facing criminal charges, trust David P. Shapiro criminal defense attorneys, helping clients regain control since 2010. Visit davidpshapirolaw.com. All right, we've got a Padres smorgasbord coming up. Where'd you go? You just left.
PP.
Oh. A little late, but glad you're back.
Number one.
Yeah, we just had a whole break.
I know. I was busy.
Oh, all right. We'll get to the Padres smorgasbord right after traffic here on 97.3 The Fan.
From the 855 Get Ross Traffic Center, protecting San Diego after accidents or injury, here's Kelly Danick.
Traffic is sponsored by Robert Half. Well, guys, looks like you got double trouble on westbound King Freeway. There's a crash just before Spring Street. It's been moved over to the right shoulder, but then up ahead near College Grove, reports of another crash. This one is in the fast lane. Got a couple vehicles, tow truck rolling up to assist with that. And hit and run crash reported northbound 15 before Balboa. It's over to the right shoulder. At Robert Half, they found that 67% of companies want to increase contract talent. That's why the recruiters' expertise and award-winning AI work quickly to find the candidates you want. At Robert Half, they know talent. Visit roberthalf.com/talent today. I'm Kelly Danick with Ben & Woods, San Diego's #1 sports station, 97.3 The Fan.
Padres smorgasbord.
All right, never mind.
Yeah.
Call it something else. Having a bad day, let's make it worse for you. Literally puts me in a bad mood. It was my idea, so I'll just wear it. My Lilo and Fish for all time.
Haven't really gone through a ton of what AJ Preller had to say yesterday, considering we spent most of our time discussing Kevin Acee's piece that dropped about 10 hours later. However, there were some interesting topics, including some things about the players in the offseason as well. Mason Miller, Adrian Morejon.
We don't know anything.
We don't really know anything.
We're not holding anything back from you
AJ
guys.
deflected on just about everything, including his own contract status.
Yeah, that was big.
He was asked about that. He said, love San Diego. We'll talk to ownership at some point in the future about an extension. UT is reporting, Jeff Sanders saying it is reported many sources in the organization that they're preparing a contract extension offer for AJ Preller.
Good.
So
will he take it?
We don't know. I guess we don't know the answer to that.
No. Didn't say.
But it doesn't sound like they're trying to push him out the door either.
Yeah, no.
AJ's first priority, though, is hiring a new manager. He was asked, are you the one who actually makes that decision? And he said, it'll be me and John Seidler and Eric Grupner and Josh Stein will probably be the foursome that has the final say on who is the hired as the manager. They will have an interview process. It will be thorough. They're compiling their list now. They're getting calls now. He said, got a lot of calls just yesterday of people who wanted to throw their hat into the ring. And AJ went on to say that he feels like with Petco Park's, 3.5 million fans, being San Diego, being a roster with talent and stars, that the Padres job may be the most attractive currently available to any managerial candidate out there. And I wanted to make that the focus of today's Padres Smorgasbord. There are 8 open managerial jobs right now. Texas Rangers were the 9th, but they already filled it with Skip Schumacher. Is the Padres job the one that is the most appealing? I think to me, the biggest contenders. I mean, you can throw a couple out the window right now. The Rockies,
tough.
It's not an easy job for
Definitely
many
okay,
reasons.
Let's do pros and cons. All right. So the pros are 0 expectations. 0.
Correct.
Right.
Good fan base.
Good fan base.
Yeah.
Good ballpark.
City.
Good city.
Yeah. Coming off 119 losses.
Nowhere to go but up. Right. So like you go out and you win 50 games, you've improved. 50. You win 60, you're a legend. You win 75,
you're manager of the year.
You're manager of the year. So the expectations are limited. So is the talent right now. But you do have some young players that are fairly exciting coming up through the ranks. I don't know where they rank prospect-wise. David J's in the chat. He could probably tell me at the drop of a hat. Great job on the presser yesterday, David. But if you know where the Rockies sit on farm ranking, better than us. I'll tell you that right now. They are better than the San Diego Padres as far as farm system goes.
I think everywhere else has some appeal also, though.
Okay.
The Minnesota Twins are a tough one. You know, they got rid of a ton of their players already. So you're in a big rebuild if you go to Minnesota. But it is a franchise that has had success and success recently. Rocco Baldelli had some 3 playoff seasons, I think, 100-win season not that long ago. They're not the most competitive in terms of media market. However, good ballpark, though. Everyone likes Target Field up there. But I would say that's near the lower end of the spectrum. I would say
they don't spend a lot.
I would say the Angels are at the lower end of the spectrum as well. Now, Artie Moreno has spent money for sure on players, not spent it well. You're still saddled with some aging stars, but you do have some good younger players as well, like Zach Neto, Joe Adell. I mean, there are some good, exciting players in that organization.
I swear to God, Zach Neto would be enough for me. Let's say it's the only offer you got you want to manage, but I'd be like, Zach Neto is a reason I want to come to the ballpark every day. I love that kid. I think he is a complete and total gamer. He would fill my cup, as Mike should like to say.
It's Southern California, but it's clearly the worst of the 3 Southern California locations and teams, right?
I don't like traffic very much. It would be 2 out of 3 on my list.
Orange County's traffic it's
pretty bad. You're right. No, you're right. You're right.
Inland, Anaheim. Anaheim is not, it's not great.
I loved the stadium. We had such a great time when we went up there. The fans are good. They're hungry. Neto seals the deal they would have to bring him in to seal the deal. I love that kid. He would get me out of bed in the morning. I'm not kidding, man. That's how much I love that dude.
I think the Nationals, maybe more toward the middle of this list. Certainly lots of young talent, but man, they have not been able to put anything together since winning the World Series.
They have a new ownership group, do they not?
They do.
Okay. That would be semi-exciting. What young talent do they have? They have Mackenzie Gore. They have CJ Abrams. They have James Wood. These are
players to build around, possibly.
Players to build around. Will you be able to keep them?
I don't know.
Do they have anybody else besides the 3 former Padres that we can remember from that trade?
As far as good young players?
No pitching outside of Gore. And Gore is a little, he
fell off a little bit
at the end of the season. That's not one of the more attractive jobs. DC's a good stadium, good ballpark. They have that World Series title. That almost makes it harder, though. They recently know what success looks like. Their expectations of that are never going to be met, at least not anytime soon, it looks like. I think it's a tough job in Washington. Baltimore, Orioles.
Yeah.
Similar spot.
Good young talent.
If ownership would commit to, putting it all together, feels like that could be a really good place. Got our friend Adam Jones in the organization. Got lots of good young players. You've got a great farm system that you could trade. Got a good ballpark, one of the better ones.
It's
attractive. I think it's a pretty attractive gig. San Francisco Giants.
Great gig.
Think so?
Yeah. Great gig.
Buster Posey.
Bryce Eldridge, Logan Webb, Jung-Ho Lee. Ramos.
You added
I mean,
a star and Rafael Devers already.
Willie Adames will figure it out. Matt Chapman, your left side of the infield's pretty set. Bryce Eldridge comes up. Buster Posey's your GM. He's psychotically wants to win.
Great city,
great city, great ballpark. Absolutely. That's probably 1 and 1A with the Padres.
Unless you hate the smell of garlic fries.
Well, okay. Well,
But other than that,
I like the smell. I don't like to eat
It's
them.
good job. I mean, expectations are probably still pretty
They're
high,
very
as
high.
they always will be
Very
in
high.
San Francisco.
But that's a good
That's a
gig.
good job.
That's going to be an interesting one. That's the thing. You forget you're competing with all of these teams.
You're in
right
the
now.
NL West. That's a tough division to
No,
get
no,
thrown
no.
into with the
I
Dodgers.
mean, we now are competing to find the
A
right
manager.
skipper with 7 other teams. As of now, just 7 other teams. There's still potentially more axes to fall.
Think about how delicately you have to be aggressive and quick to move before another team takes the guy that you're hoping to sign.
8 openings is crazy.
But
right
you
now.
also got to do your due diligence, and you owe it to everybody in the organization to make sure you do a thorough job in vetting out the next manager. But that would be tough to want to be detailed and thorough, and also have to, AJ said there's no time constraint.
I mean,
but
part of it is if you feel like you're the most attractive job, you can get some of the best candidates to be a little more patient. And you say, hey, I'm still up for the Padres job. I'm not necessarily ready to take your offer. So
there's going to be a lot of pitting against each other.
What's the latest you can think of a manager being hired by a team?
Good question. I have no idea.
I mean,
they have to be in place by the winter meetings, right?
Yes.
AJ said the GM meetings. I looked it up. I think those are November 10th. They start.
Okay.
But,
so that's a month.
And he said that's not even
that's not even
a
the
date.
deadline. It could be after that, but it has to be before the winter meetings in December, I would think.
I think so.
You're not going into the winter meetings without a manager.
Okay.
All right. Atlanta Braves.
Great gig.
Yeah.
Phenomenal. That may be the best.
I'd say with the Padres and Braves, those to me are the two that Giants are close, but I think the Braves with the healthy Acuna coming back again next year. You've got
Strider figured out. You got Olsen. You have superstars in Atlanta. You have a committed fan base. You have a great ballpark. You have a tradition, an ownership group that will spend.
You throw the season in the dumpster and just go.
Yeah.
Well,
it happens,
one off.
Happens
it's just
to
a
the best
bad
of
year.
them.
Everyone has a bad year, and let's
Regroup.
go right back to winning.
Yep.
I mean, we thought they would be a 100-win team this last year. Back to the playoffs, no problem. Didn't work out, but I think the fundamentals of the organization haven't really changed. Who they are and what they're going to be.
I think
they'll be contenders.
Very attractive gig.
I do.
Also, prerequisite 1: can you stay awake during games? You can. We're going to move you on to the next round. That's it. That's the only question you have for me. Yes. Do you have the ability to not sleep during a baseball game? Yes, I do. Okay. You move to the next.
And then there's the San Diego Padres. I mean, the pros are obvious.
Right.
What are the cons?
The cons are it's tumultuous. It's tumultuous whether, you can point to, like, AJ takes responsibility for it. Certainly. He shares some of that responsibility. The players take responsibility for it. They share some of that responsibility. The fans take zero responsibility for it. Zero. You put your asses in that ballpark 72 times out of 81 and you filled it up. Zero responsibility.
What questions? Let's say you are a top managerial candidate and you are going in to interview with the Padres. They ask your questions. Now they say, what questions do you have for us?
What's
about
going
our
on?
Organization?
What's going on with ownership?
Correct.
Okay. What's going on with ownership? I noticed that you guys are top 10 in payroll right now. Is that guaranteed to stay the case over the next 5 years? You pitched me a 5-year deal. Will that stay the case? Will you commit to being a top 10 payroll in the next 5 years? Yes or no, right? So those are things that I want to know.
Your first question, maybe to yourself, has to be, why have they had so many managers in so few seasons?
I agree.
That would absolutely.
What's going on with all the
cause for
turnover?
concern.
I don't want to be the next, in the churn of managers.
I don't want to be the next.
Now, AJ said yesterday, I want to hire the guy that's going to be here for 10 years.
By the way,
like the rest of us.
I'm sure he does.
He said that. He's said that with every manager.
Yes, he has.
I'm sure he does.
He thought Bob Melvin was going to be here for 10 years.
I would ask.
10 years.
I would ask about AJ Preller, and
he's probably going to be in there.
Yeah. Maybe.
Can you leave for like
sidebar?
10 minutes? Sidebar.
What is it really like working for him? And I don't think it's as bad as some people will make it indicate. Is AJ a madman? Yeah, he's a bit of a madman. Is he working all the time, odd hours? Will he text in the middle of the night? Is he an unreasonable human being? I don't get that from AJ. I actually don't see that from AJ Preller. I think he has some humanity to him, actually, as well. Is he driven? Is he very baseball focused all the time? Yes. I don't think he's a nightmare to work for. I believe that when it comes to the 30 managerial jobs, he's more hands-off than most when it comes to his skipper in the dugout. He really does try to let his manager run his team the way the manager wants to run his team. Sometimes he bites his tongue. Sometimes he doesn't. And, you shouldn't always. It's ultimately his responsibility. So sometimes he does say things. But I would think that's not the worst thing about being the Padres manager is working for AJ Preller.
Well, I mean, just the fact that there's so many other attractive jobs out there is going to be, it's going to be tough. You better have it kind of honed down on who you want, because you don't want to get to a Jace Tingler situation again, where you really had somebody in mind that fell through, and then you're like, let's pivot. That was probably the biggest panic move of AJ Preller's career, other than maybe some of the weird trades, but like every GM has weird trades. That panic move to get Tingler, I heard the story. Like it was full on panic. And the Tingler was like, are you sure? Like, I don't even know that I want this right now. And that was a panic move. It's a GM with not a lot of experience at that point and panicked.
It's pretty universally believed that AJ Preller was pressured by the late great Peter Seidler as well, with maybe the Manny extension,
Yes.
the Xander contract.
Correct.
But ultimately, those are also going to fall. Those could fall as a panic signing.
Yep. And that's the thing is you wear those.
You're like, hey man, I'm not leaving these winter meetings without somebody. I didn't get Trey Turner. I didn't get Aaron Judge.
Go get Xander.
I'm getting Xander Bogaerts.
Yeah.
I think the worst thing, though, about both the Padres and the Giants openings is the same thing. You are in a division with the LA Dodgers.
Correct. How do you zig while they're just zigging and zagging at the same time? Because this is not Dodger loving.
NL East ain't much easier.
But it kind of is.
It's not much easier.
They spend money. They have the ability to not use players, and and guess what else they are? They're really good.
Yeah.
All
of a sudden, Minnesota doesn't sound that bad. Oh, I just have to get past the Guardians.
Colorado doesn't sound that bad. You're just chilling, but there's
no
no expectations. Zero.
We will come back. 2 hours to go. Jordan Schustman take on Woods, all ahead in hour number 3. Ben Woods, San Diego's #1 sports station, 97.3 The Fan.
halfway home on a Wednesday. Ben and Woods 97.3 The Fan. What a week it has been here on The Fan and here on the program and in our city. And off-season Padres, you know, you say they don't disappoint, but it's kind of disappointing when you have to do this every single year. Paulie made the point earlier. Will we ever have a normal offseason? You already know next offseason will not be normal because of the impending lockout. We've had COVID. We've had...
As a show, we started in March of 2018.
So
the 2018 offseason, you got Manny early 2019.
Right.
There's some excitement,
Sure.
I guess, but that was fairly normal.
Last off season was pretty normal.
What?
Are you insane?
Are you out of your mind? Where were you? There were lawsuits and all. I mean, what?
Well, I mean, in terms of they didn't change the manager, and
But like it
no-
was a huge. Were you here? Do you remember?
I mean, he came off the most disappointing exit in franchise history.
I mean, every
Right.
season's going to
And
end with some sort of disappointment.
that
or
led
World
into
Not like
Series.
that.
That's
ownership
normal.
lawsuits and what do you?
Hmm.
No moves until
I mean, it hadn't
February.
happened yet. Like at this point last
At
year,
this point, but I'm talking off season.
we
as a
were
whole.
stinging from the end of the playoffs, but we weren't like nothing weird had happened.
It was, last year, a year ago today was probably a nightmare for all.
We were
Padres
sad. We were
fans.
very, very sad.
very sad.
But it was kind of that usual. We just lost sad.
2019 into 2020, everything felt normal up until spring training was stopped due
Yep.
to COVID.
Yep.
2020 to 2021, coming off the COVID season,
Yeah.
you didn't fire. No, we didn't fire manager that off season. Did we have the lockout after that year?
Yes.
Or was that the following year? So we had a lockout and a new manager. Then another off season coming off the 2022 playoffs was okay.
Yep. And then the meltdown of 23, new manager.
New manager.
We had a WBC
Peter Seidler
after
passed away.
2022, right?
Yeah, Peter passed
2023.
away. It's,
Yeah,
it's crazy.
This one's going to not be normal. You got the WBC. That's
Yep.
what happened, I think, in
Yeah.
that odd year.
We have that coming again this year.
So that's going to shorten everything up.
That's going to be this year. Yeah, it's going to be nuts.
After next season, it'll feel normal up until, well, there's no baseball at all.
So
there's a
there's-
lockout.
Yep.
Huh.
Yep.
Maybe one day we'll have a normal off season.
Someday. And just celebrate all off season because you won a World Series. That's pretty much what it is. I had an idea. Tweeted it last night. Was watching these games. These October baseball games. They're so exciting, and you want it so bad as a fan, right? Like you absolutely want to win a World Series, and you watch how these teams perform, and you're like, I wish it was us. And I tweeted last night. Essentially, nothing matters. Like we all get so worked up in the regular season, about games in May. And hey, listen, you're going to counter with, hey, every game counts. I'm not saying that. I know they do. The emotional energy that I'm willing to expend on them next season, I'm giving myself 10 games of 162. Then the playoffs is when you ratchet it up.
Now, I thought this was very interesting last night when I saw you tweet this, that you were only going to give yourself 10 in an 162 game season.
10 regular season games next year that I get emotional about. Nothing matters but October is
Now,
what I tweeted.
Do you think, and we should do something, Paulie, create,
Give me the big
I said
coins.
a coupon book. I like your idea, like coins that we can put into a slot.
Like
you
comically
spend them.
large.
Comically
coins.
large
I'm
coins.
spending one of my emotional
Bling,
reaction
I throw it
coins.
to you guys in the morning.
Now, I have some questions.
Okay. I have some answers.
Do you think that you will only use them on losses? Or is there ever some wins that you will also want to use your coins on?
I can't.
Because if they lose like 70 games,
Woodsy's emotional investment piggy bank. That's right.
then you're getting, if they like lose 70 and you're only using them on losses, then you're using them, fairly often.
no. You don't get to tell me when I'm using
Well,
them.
that's what I'm asking. Are you going to use them on wins? at
I'm
all?
going to be
Use them however you want.
I'm just going to be judicious about how much of my brain power and bandwidth I give to a loss next season, knowing in the back of my head, the only thing that counts is October. That's all that matters. That's all that ultimately matters. I don't care about June. I don't care about July. I don't care about the Reds in August. I just care about October. I'm going to load manage myself in that sense.
Does it matter when they go to spring training that you feel confident that they're getting to October 1st?
Yes.
Because if you're not confident they're going to get to October, then the regular season games matter a lot more. Yeah, they don't matter to the Dodgers because they know they're getting there in October.
Yeah.
They have like a 1% chance of missing the playoffs
Correct.
every year at the start of the season.
Yeah, look, I expect
the Padres are a normal organization. They can never go into the playoffs with more than a 55 to 65% chance. So you need to make sure you get there. And if you don't get there, are you going to be like, I wish I cared a little bit more about those regular season games because we never even got an October game.
No, because it has literally nothing to do with how much I care, whether they get to October or not. And you protect your peace throughout the season. But I got to I saw it. Steve, wait. You chowed through 7 Almond Joys in 24 hours. Steve, it was 4 minutes, bro. But you'll ration 10 emotional game chips? Yes, that's what I'm going to try to do.
That's what I was laughing at.
I
thought about it yesterday, by the way. Saw a bag of Halloween candy. It was all Almond Joys.
It's like
probably between 68 and 70 Almond Joys in that bag.
It's like an adult film. I mean, it's right there for you.
Yeah.
I think, you manage your emotional load a little bit better next season. And I think what I look at how the Dodgers have done it this year with load management. That's the reason they're in this position right now is because of load management. I have a way to fix the San Diego Padres, by the way. You ready for this? So, you look at Tyler Glass now, who will be the Game 3 starter. You know how many regular season innings he threw this year? How many? Guess.
75.
90?
90.
Through 90 regular season innings. Does he look good to you guys? Because he looks damn good to me. He looks damn fine to me. How about Blake Snell? How many regular season innings did Blake Snell throw? He threw 61 and a third. 61 innings. And I thought to myself, now that, if you can do it, if you have the
but
offense.
Nobody can.
Sure they can. We did.
Pavetta, we 50 innings next year.
No. Here, what are we going to do? We're going to go out and we're going to
finish in last place.
No. We have, if the offense could get it figured out, right? And the elite bullpen that we have, the likes of Randy Vasquez, JP Sears, Nick Pavetta, Joe Musgrove, like guys can go, and depending on who we go out and get, you're just playing for October. You're resting Manny a little bit. You're resting Xander a little bit. You're resting the guys that are getting a year older. You're managing loads next year. Framber Valdez threw 192 innings this year. 192. I don't know what he's going to command. Go get him. Let him throw 100.
Isn't that what happened in 2023?
I don't care about 2023.
So sure they were going to make the playoffs that they didn't.
That they never got to it.
That they never got to the playoffs.
But if you know you're load managing, it changes your mentality fully. It changes your mentality. Like, we're just going to be ready to kick ass in October. It's a strategy, right?
So
Ranger Suarez threw 157 innings for the Philadelphia Phillies. Manage that load, right? Throw 57 innings and have him ready for October. Merrill Kelly with 184 innings pitched. Cut that in half, and Merrill Kelly is out there in October. You have to have an excellent offense. You have to play incredible defense, and you have to get serviceable pitching from your JPs, your Randys, your Johnny Britos, your Joe Musgroves.
You traded
your
two
Nick
of your
Pavetta.
serviceable pitch. Serviceable. I can't say serviceable. Serviceable pitchers in Stephen Kolek and Ryan Bergert at the trade deadline. Those would have been two really
but it would have been great
depth arms the Padres could have had, but now they have a catcher instead and Freddie Fermin.
I don't think anybody's disputing the strategy. It clearly has worked, and it's clearly the right thing to do if you can do it.
If you have 12 starters.
How many teams have a team, an all-star roster on their bench, though? Nobody besides them. They have the depth that nobody else can even come close to.
I will give credit to the Dodgers. They could have panicked when the Padres passed them in the standings a couple of times. Like, we're not taking this seriously enough. We need to rush back our starters. We need to change our plan. Our plan was to kind of cruise through the regular season, but all of a sudden, we're not doing as well as we thought. We're only, we're in a battle for first place.
It was
we're
a
not
risk,
gonna get,
Ben.
We're not going to get a bye in the first round.
It was a risk, and you don't mind.
It was a big risk.
It wasn't a big risk.
It was a big risk.
It was not a big risk. They didn't get a bye. You know who they got? They got the Reds. And look at who dominated.
But you could have lost to the Reds. You can lose any wild card series.
But
any team
like
can
I
lose
said,
any wild card
it's a risk.
series.
It's a risk. But 190 innings for your starters throughout the year. I'm not saying you cut it to 60 like they did. I mean, Glasnow and Snell threw 150 innings combined. And look at these dudes now. Look at them. They're as crisp and sharp as they're in their primes right now.
But they're also really good pitchers.
Sure, absolutely. But the guys I just mentioned are really good pitchers too. Try to find a way.
They're good. They're not Snell and Yamamoto level.
You have to spend some money. You got to spend some money for depth. You have to spend some money for that. And Yamamoto he threw 170, 180.
Now, one of the costs of the Dodgers strategy is they had more bullpen innings thrown than any team in baseball, and it clearly impacted their bullpen, which was pathetic at the end of the year, and they couldn't trust it at all. But because they did that, they have so much starting pitching now that they don't need a bullpen in the least bit in the playoffs.
I'm not saying you have to match their depth because nobody will, but you have to have some depth, and you're going to have to spend some money.
I mean, they didn't have enough starting pitching depth.
You're going to have to keep guys fresher for October. You're just going to have to. You're going to have to keep guys in better shape and ready for October because it's all that counts. That's kind of where at least this is my dumb take. I don't care. I'll wear it. It's
not a dumb take.
No,
it's not feasible for any other team besides the Dodgers.
I'm not saying, again, you don't have to match their depth with the caliber and quality of Blake Snell and Glasnow because you won't find it. That's what I'm not saying that. I'm even saying with position players, right? I thought it was a bit malpractice-y by them to have Mookie Betts out there dying in the beginning part of the season. Had lost 30 pounds. They're like, you're playing short, dude. Sorry. I really did. I said, and I know he wanted to and all that, but I thought, you've got enough.
That's going to cost you games in the regular season, though.
You don't care about games in the regular season.
Yes, you do. If you're the Padres,
If you're
the Dodgers and you go from 107 wins to 95
that's who
wins,
I was talking about.
Yes.
I'm talking about the Dodgers.
Okay, but the Padres can't do that.
They can't do that.
You can't go from 90 wins to 84 wins because you're not in the playoffs anymore.
But again,
you'll be ready for them, but you're not in them.
But I'm telling you, if you spend money, you're going to have to spend money. This is not a feasible plan without spending some money in free agency. They're going to have to spend money. And after 72 sellouts, I hope they do. And, watching your division rival win another World Series, most likely, I hope they do. Try to compete. But I'm talking about the Dodgers. That was their strategy. And I called it, Benny, from spring training. Why would you ever pitch Glasnow in April, May, or June? I said it. Why would you pitch Snell in April, May, or June? Emmett Sheehan, Landon Knack. You're telling me, I know we've traded away a lot of pieces, but we can't find some depth to try to at least get guys more ready for October because what we've been doing hasn't been working. And you see them, they are the freshest team in the playoffs. But it wasn't
the Padres pitching in October
I
that
understand.
let them down.
But that's why I said, guys like Manny, you're going to have to give them. No one's going to punish Manny Machado if he doesn't play 158 games this year. If he plays 140, I'm still elated with that. But Manny's ready to go, and his body feels better in the biggest moments in October. That's all I'm saying, is that it's almost, you can't copy their model exactly, but you can slightly copy it. You can try to add more depth. You can try to be smarter about, taking that pride of, hey, I'm going to go play 160. It doesn't work. You don't perform in October. We need you to perform in October. Same with Tatis. He took a lot of pride with how many games he played this year. Bro, we got to find some depth pieces that will allow us to not punt per se.
I'll agree that an obsession with playing as many games as possible is unhealthy.
Correct.
And Manny,
the older you get, it's just not feasible.
Kind of needs to let that go. Posting is great, but Manny is too important to be pushing himself to play 160 games.
Yeah,
and
I agree.
not take any days off until the last week of the season.
I agree 100%. Kyle Glazer actually asked that question of AJ Preller yesterday. They said they're going to sit down with Manny. They're going to talk to Manny. Manny's a good self-evaluator, they said. And, he may be getting to a point where he's like, that grind of playing 158 games every year, I'm not at my best when it counts the most. And that's what I'm saying. Like, trying to find a way to do, can you, in the NBA, you can sit your superstars and still win a championship.
Every team does.
Every team does.
I mean, they try to discourage it, but every team
well,
does.
They actually,
under some sort of load management.
In baseball, they actually don't try to discourage it. They really don't. I know Billy Epler got popped for this years ago, but obviously there's a way to do it and not get in any trouble for it at all. None, zero, no blowback at all. So I'm just saying, like, my focus next year, Ben, is literally October based. It's October based. That's what my focus is. You're not going to get me. I'm going to get 10. You get 10 coins of games that really piss me off in the regular season. It's all I'm going to give myself because it just doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. If you get to October, be ready to jam in October. That's my underlying point.
But it would be nice to have a bye or at least a home series in the playoffs.
It would be fantastic.
And you need to win more games than you did this year to
would
get
be
a
fantastic.
bye or a home series in the first round of the playoffs.
It would be great. It would be great. But again, Dodgers didn't need it. They didn't have home field advantage this series. They played a wild card. They've barely broken a sweat. Now, I get it. They're the deepest team in the history of baseball. You can't be exactly like them. Don't try to be. But try to take some of what they've done.
I mean, the Dodgers are throwing old-ass Clayton Kershaw in the regular season to rest up Blake Snell and Tyler Glasnow. And Kershaw was great.
He was
this
great.
year,
He was phenomenal.
So that helps a lot.
That helps a ton.
We're talking about.
But they were willing to give those games away if they had to. They were willing to give them away.
Down here, though, let's give Matt Waldron a start so that Joe Musgrove can be a little bit fresher. And Joe's great, but he's not pitching like Snell and Glasnow and Yamamoto. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's a little different.
Just a different level. They're all top to bottom. They're on another level.
Yeah.
Now we need to take a timeout. When we come back, time for Take on Woods. If you want to try to take Woods on our musical trivia contest and qualify for our grand prize trip to Vegas and the Jerry Seinfeld tickets, call in now, 833-288-0973, 833-288-0973. And then we'll talk with Jordan Schustman from Cespedes Family Barbecue at the bottom of the hour. All coming up after traffic here with Ben and Woods on 97.3 The Fan.
Oh, well, let me tell you quickly about Loan Pronto. I was unaware it was my time, but that's all right. If you are trapped in a high-rate mortgage, if you're watching your hard-earned money vanish every month, stop. Because right now, at Loan Pronto, delivering the lowest mortgage rates in 3 years. Everybody wants to save some money on their mortgage, man. Their rate reduction home loan program, streamlined, low-cost way to slash your house payments by hundreds of dollars a month. Lock in a fixed rate as low as 4.99% APR. Close in as little as 2 weeks. No appraisal needed in most cases. And the kicker is you could even skip your next two house payments entirely. Rates this low will not last. Call Loan Pronto now for your free, no obligation quote. Loan Pronto is incredible. Lower payments, more money in your pocket. Fresh start with a better mortgage. 619-207-4336 or loanpronto.com. Lock in your new low rate and skip those next two payments. Don't let high rates hold you back. 619-207-4336 or go to loanpronto.com right now. Equal housing lender, NMLS 1661781, subject to lender approval, NMLSconsumeraccess.org.
Hey, player, this is all yours. This room with this view. This speakeasy with this cocktail. Hey, could you make that too? The spa with this. Ah. And this pool on this roof. This is all for you. The all-new Humul Casino Resort, now open.
Five seconds ago from Rawlings Baseball, the 2025 Rawlings Gold Glove Award finalists, National League right field, Corbin Carroll, Arizona Diamondbacks, Sal Frelick, Milwaukee Brewers, Fernando Tatis Jr., San Diego Padres.
It's Fernando Tatis Jr.
Congratulations to Fernando. He is the only nominee among the San Diego Padres for a Gold Glove Award. Got to think
Corbin Carroll, Toddy, and who's the other one?
Sal Frelick.
Our buddy Andy tweeted.
That would be an absolute shame if Fernando does not get
Oh,
it.
yeah, he better win that. He's going to win the Platinum Glove.
He
as
better win
should.
that as well.
Somebody, our buddy Andy tweeted earlier, no Luis Arraez on the first base. I said he won the internal Gold Glove. So they did give him that.
No Manny at third. Yeah, a lot of errors this
Yeah,
year. I
he
wasn't expecting him. It's Matt Shaw, Ryan McMahon, and Brian Hayes are your third base nominees for the Gold Glove Award.
Matt Shaw. Who else?
Matt Shaw, the Cubs, Ryan McMahon, Rockies for most of the year, and then Yankees at the end of the year, and then Brian Hayes.
No Matt Chapman.
No Matt Chapman.
Wild. No Nolan Arenado, finally. Finally, he's left off, and Chapman's left off, and Manny has a terrible defensive year by his standards.
Yeah. All right, Jordan Schustman in a couple of minutes. Right now, let's get to Take on Woods. Take on Woods, brought to you by Bay Alarm, security and fire alarms for every business. We got you, and we got Garrett today. Garrett, you there?
Yes, sir.
All right, welcome to Take on Woods. 5 questions of musical trivia. If you beat or tie Woods, we will put you into our grand prize drawing for the trip to see Jerry Seinfeld at Caesar's Palace, the Coliseum, on April 17th. 2 tickets to the show, 2-night stay at the Flamingo Hotel, and a $100 gas card to get your own Jerry Seinfeld tickets April 17th and 18th. Ticketmaster.com. You get to pick our category. Woods has left the studio. Mr. and Mrs. Smith, 5 musical artists with Smith somewhere in their name. On the Bell Curve, 5 song titles and artists with Bell in their name. And our new category is another Take on Woods category. 5 song titles that include the word another. So, Mr. and Mrs. Smith on the bell curve or another Take on Woods category. Garrett, what would you like to play?
Let's do Mr. and Mrs. Smith.
Mr. and Mrs. Smith. All right, these are all musical artists, and they all have Smith somewhere in their name. You have 60 seconds to name as many as you can. First questions are 2-second song. Paulie will play some music. You need to give me the song title and the musical artist with Smith in their name. If you don't know one, you can pass. We'll come back to it if there's time left at the end of the clock. Garrett, are you ready to play?
Yes, let's do it.
All right, let's do it. 60 seconds on the clock. The category. 60 seconds on the clock. The category is Mr. and Mrs. Smith. Garrett, your time begins when Paul plays the music. Good luck. Let's take on Woods.
Skip.
Now a Hollywood star and film producer, which Philadelphia rapper first hit the big time when he teamed with Jeffrey Allen Towns to form a hip-hop duo.
The Smith Street Band.
Incorrect. Which band's 1975 breakthrough album was called Toys in the Attic?
Pass.
Co-written by Bruce Springsteen, 1978's Because the Night is the top hit from which influential female punk singer?
Pass.
Which English singer and songwriter is known for hits including 2014's Stay With Me?
Ooh. Sam Smith.
That is correct. Let's go back to our 2-second song. All right, time is up. We got one. Didn't get any others. I don't think that's going to be enough. Let's see. Philadelphia rapper Jeffrey Allen Towns, also known as DJ Jazzy Jeff. That's Will Smith. Aerosmith, Toys in the Attic, Patti Smith, and then the song was How Soon Is Now by The Smiths. Let's bring Woods back in. He's gonna get this one. I think he'll do well on this category. We'll see. Let's put 60 seconds on the clock. Woods, your time begins when Paul plays the music. Good luck. Let's take on Garrett.
That's How Soon Is Now by the Smiths.
Correct. Now a Hollywood star and film producer, which Philadelphia rapper first hit the big time when he teamed with Jeffrey Allen Towns to form a hip-hop duo.
Will Smith?
Correct. Which band's 1975 breakthrough album was called Toys in the Attic?
Aerosmith.
Correct. Co-written by Bruce Springsteen, 1978's Because the Night is
Patti Smith.
Correct. Which English singer and songwriter is known for hits including 2014's Stay With Me?
Sam Smith.
Grow! Very nicely done, Woods.
Grow! It's like a combo of great and go. Oh, great.
That's a 5-1 win over Garrett.
Sounds like Joe Davis.
Grow! Thank you for playing, Garrett. We will have a game of Real or Fake tomorrow and a Throwback Thursday to try to qualify someone else for Las Vegas.
I didn't forget everyone in the chat that said their goat was washed yesterday, and I had to bring it today. So there you go. Your goat is not washed. I'm here.
Well done.
Thank you. 5 for 5?
He's back. 5 for 5. Very nicely done. Category was Mr. and Mrs. Smith.
I like it.
We've got Jordan Schustman, Cespedes Family Barbecue. Going to talk ALCS and more when we come back with Ben Woods on San Diego's #1 sports station, 97.3 The Fan. I've got good news, though, for everybody who is thinking about losing weight here in the last couple of months of 2025. SDFatLoss.com is bringing back their special, fall special, $200 off now through October 31st. They want you to lose that weight before the end of the year. Lose up to 20% of your body weight before Christmas. Don't wait to look and feel amazing heading into the holiday season. Just schedule your free consultation by visiting SDFatLoss.com. And I'm not only the spokesperson, I'm also a client.
Thank you,
I lost 40 pounds in 60 days. That's up to the pound of fat per day that they promised, 10 to 20% of my body weight. And I did it by eating real foods. That's how their program works. They don't ask you to buy any bars or meals or shakes. You are eating real food from the grocery store, and you're losing weight fast. John down the hall lost 30. Jess down the hall 40. Scraby 40. Chrisella 37 pounds. We have all lost weight. Tier 1s have lost weight with no injections, no side effects, and no exercise necessary. Find out how you can change your life, change your metabolism, and more, and take advantage of their $200 off special this month by going to sdfatloss.com and schedule your free consultation at sdfatloss.com. Results may vary.
Hey, player, this is all yours. This room with this view. This speakeasy with this cocktail. Hey, could you make that too? The spa with this. Ah. And this pool on this roof. This is all for you. The all-new Hamul Casino Resort, now open.
We are about to take you live up to Seattle, Washington, ahead of Game 3 of the American League Championship Series tonight, and I imagine T-Mobile Park is going to be insane. Woods.
It's gonna be crazy. I mean, you've seen the videos of Mariners fans that have been waiting for this their entire life.
Yep.
They're sobbing. Our pal Dave Softy Mahler flipping out in tears. He said he's just bursting into tears at a moment's notice. I wonder if Jordan feels the same way.
They are so close. Jordan Schustman from Cespedes Family Barbecue will join us right after traffic on 97.3 The Fan.
From the 855 Get Ross Traffic Center, protecting San Diego after accidents or injury, here's Kelly Danick.
Traffic is brought to you by Park 101 in Carlsbad, North County's football headquarters. Just a few problems here, guys. One of them is this accident, southbound 5 coastline, right before Palomar Airport Road. Tow truck is helping to clear that out of the fast lane. Also traveling east on the 78 stalled vehicle on the Melrose off-ramp. Westbound 78 accident cleared at the southbound 15 connector. Up ahead, another crash cleared near Los Posas. And got this collision on northbound 15 before Center City Parkway. That's been cleared out of lanes. Football is back, and Park 101 in coastal Carlsbad is your game day headquarters. 10,000 square feet, 19 TVs, Bills Backers Club specials, cocktails, and ice-cold beer. Park 101 at Carlsbad Village, North County's home for football. I'm Kelly Danick with Ben and Wood, San Diego's #1 sports station, 97.3 The Fan.
Jordan Schustman joins us now on our David P. Shapiro fan hotline. Facing criminal charges, trust David P. Shapiro criminal defense attorneys, helping clients regain control since 2010. Visit davidpshapirolaw.com. Jordan, good to see you. How are you feeling today?
Good morning, guys.
Good morning,
It's been
buddy.
a minute. So
has.
nice to be back on with you fine folks. And yes, I am here in Seattle, Washington. If you're watching on YouTube, you can actually see the Space Needle in the reflection of the art
there is.
behind me.
Oh,
I'm not going to turn my camera around because that would be unprofessional.
Like three-quarters of the way up.
I am here in Seattle. I got here last night. And I'm going to watch a baseball game later. That's what's going to happen.
not very fun, is it, to watch these games? Jordan? I mean, when you
I should
dominate,
say, I will be.
when you dominate and you score 9-10 runs, those are fun games, but it takes a lot out of you. It really does. I mean, we were only in a 3-game series, and I felt like I was going to die at the end of it against the Cubs. You've been on quite a run here, and how does it feel? How do you feel mentally and physically?
Sure. Yeah. So obviously, I'm also balancing. I mean, this is the job, right?
Yep.
I'm going to be working these games, and I got covered the 2 games in Detroit last week in person, and those Mariners kind of cruised in Game 3, and then really kind of coughed it up in Game 4, and then that of course set the stage for the classic on Friday night in Seattle, which really seemed to kind of break through into the mainstream of sports consciousness. And I think that was kind of a cool part about that experience. Is it? And I was at home watching. I ended up writing after the fact, which was a late evening for your boy. I think I filed around 5 a.m.
Oh my
East
God.
Coast time, but it was an all timer, man. I mean, there was so much going on in that game that you had to kind of wrap your mind around, and so that's of course significant. They went to Toronto and just dominate for 2 games, and we'll see if they can keep it going here in Seattle.
You never want to be an MLB franchise that's the only one not to do something good.
Yeah.
And I remember, as a Padres fan until 2021, when Joe Musgrove finally threw the first no-hitter and the last team that didn't have one. But that's nothing compared to being the only team that has never gotten to a World Series. How are Mariners fans handling being just 2 wins away now from the promised land that all other 29 teams have reached at least once?
It's kind of hard to fathom. I mean, you think about what that fun fact means, and it speaks to again, teams that have only existed for 20, 30 years have made, whether it's the Rockies, whether it's the Rays, whether it's the D-backs and Marlins, and all these teams that have barely existed for very long that have managed to get there. And Seattle hasn't even come anywhere close. If they win a game here this week, even a game, it'll be farther than they've ever made it. They've never won 3 games in the ALCS, of course, have never been to the World Series. So it's amazing. I've only been watching this team closely for about 10, 12 years. So it's a little bit different than the lifelong Pacific Northwest people that have been born into this. But it's been pretty remarkable to watch, to see how close they've gotten and see what is still ahead of them.
Talking to our pal Jordan Schustman from Cespedes Family Barbecue, which is quite a mouthful, right? But I every year in October you have your superstars, and do the superstars come out and play? I haven't tweeted anything negative about Shohei Ohtani, because the minute I do, he'll hit 6 home runs in one game and throw a no-hitter. So I'm just letting that rot. But our stars kind of disappear in October. The Mariners stars have showed up in October, but you also get the Jorge Polancos that every team is like, we need to find a Jorge Polanco at the deadline, or we need to get a guy like that, kind of maligned a little bit from throughout the season. Dodgers have their Kike Hernandez. It's inexplicable how this happens in October, Jordan, seemingly every year.
Yeah, I think Polanco is kind of a weird blend of a few of those things, right? Because he was the maligning happened last year in his first year with Seattle, but he was fantastic in April. He was unbelievable. He was very bad in May and June, but he finished really strong. He's also a proven veteran who's had 10 years in the big leagues. Like, this dude has accomplished a lot. And I think because of that, it's not shocking that a hitter that is generally pretty good can just get really hot at the right time. I think what's an even better example of that from a deadline standpoint is what Josh Naylor has been.
Oh,
and
he's been unreal.
I know that the Suarez edition has, of course, got a lot more attention because it was the reunion. But I mean, what Naylor's been able to do, he has really taken this lineup. I mean, him and Polanco have taken this lineup from great to like a force, and that is what is also really different in terms of just like watching good Mariners teams in the recent years. Even when they have been good, the offense hasn't been remotely close to this impactful in recent years.
I know what Woods really wants to hear about, Jordan, and that's Humpy. What can you tell us about Humpy?
I don't even know what Humpy is.
I know, but you're curious now, aren't you?
Not really.
Yeah, this is quite the story, friends. I mean, this is really something. And I gotta be honest, this is a new thing in Seattle relatively. It's only the second season that they've done the salmon run. And I have not been here in Seattle since they started this. But obviously what happened on Friday with Humpy winning for the first time in 165 attempts inspired us to tell the story a little further to the national audience. And I kind of helped Jake out with the story that we published today at Yahoo Sports about that win, and kind of the behind the scenes of what it means to create a mascot race, and what the inspiration was behind this one, and everything that went into that magical moment in the middle of the 15th inning on Friday. Because I mean, I grew up in the DC area. We had the racing presidents, and Teddy Roosevelt went, I think, 7 years without winning. So I'm familiar with that kind of tale, but obviously this was a hell of a time for Humpy to get that first dub.
Humpy's a salmon, by the way. He's a mascot.
Not a real salmon.
No, you know how we do the Anchorman races.
Oh yeah,
the big giant heads, the costumes.
Yeah. And he had never won, but they let him win. Well, I mean, he won. He rose up and won in the 15th inning of the second.
And then they won.
And that saved their season somehow.
Should have done it in the ninth. Should have done it in the 10th or the 9th or the 11th. Like, why wait? At this point, it'd be more interesting to have a real salmon race with real salmon, in my opinion. Put a big box out with real salmon and have them swim. That would excite me more. Man, I thought about you. I think certainly I know that you follow the Mariners and enjoy the Mariners, and they have kind of captured a lot of people's fancy, right? Again, with the stuff that Ben just named about never having been there. They're an easy team to root for. They got good players. They got good dudes. Seemingly, they got a cool manager that, like, you look at him, he's pretty unassuming. What can
I think it's pretty cool. Like, I grew up in Seattle, Jordan. I was there for 18 years, and I was born in 1990. So I was there for all of those fun teams of the 90s. The catcher for like 12 years was Dan Wilson, who's now the manager.
Yep.
The Hall of Fame designated hitter was Edgar Martinez, who's also on Dan Wilson's staff. Like, that's so cool that two key players that played together for 10 plus years then go on to be on the coaching staff together. I think that's just so much fun.
And what has Dan Wilson figured out, right, in Seattle?
Yeah, I think it's a great question. I think it's something that we've been kind of talking about and debating all season since he kind of took over at the end of last year, and they kind of had success at the end of last year, and it was too little, too late because of how bad it had gotten, before the end of Scott Service's tenure. But I think the fact that they can kind of have these two things happening at once, where you have these two legends of the franchise to be able to make this much of an impact, it's not always that simple. There's plenty of examples of lifers from organizations hanging around, and that doesn't necessarily translate to more victories in terms of them passing along their wisdom and turning into wins for the next generation of the team. In this case, it's basically gone about as well as possible. It's also worth noting that a lot of the infrastructure was already in place. I mean, a lot of the coaching staff has not changed. Of course, the pitching infrastructure has stayed the same. That, of course, has been shining this postseason as well. But yeah, I mean, Edgar Martinez, of course, being, the director of hitting strategy, but it's also worth mentioning, that they did bring in some new names on the coaching staff, and Kevin Seitzer and Bobby Magianis, who came over from Atlanta. And I mean, you talk about that offense. I think a big part about it is that they have really good players. And I think that
that helps.
Ultimately, whenever we're talking about managers, and I don't know if we're going to talk about Shildt or not, but
yeah, we are.
At the same time, I am inclined to focus on the baseball players on the team who are playing the baseball more than the managers. And I think that this is not to take anything away from Dan Wilson, but we're also just looking at a Mariners roster that is just more complete than it's been in recent years. And I think that's being reflected.
Talking to Jordan Schustman from Cespedes Family Barbecue, Yahoo Sports. And we do need an outsider's perspective on everything that's going on here. Obviously, we're almost too close to it, and we've been talking about it for the last few days. There's never been a manager change cycle that's lasted longer than this one, with just new stories coming out. But what's your view of Mike Shildt retiring, leaving after 2 successful playoff years with the Padres, and then in the context now of twice leaving, the Cardinals, and what's come out this morning from Kevin Acee of the Union Tribune?
Yeah, it's a lot to digest, and I mean, obviously, from my perspective too, I'm trying to keep the widest possible lens, which includes this year a ton of other managerial, changes, and so this is just one that I'm just like starting to kind of get my arms around and try to understand what happened here. I don't know, man. I mean, the reporting from Kevin is certainly interesting. I think it's a reminder of even in a long season where reporters are in there all the time, like, you can cover up a lot by winning. You can get a long way and not have a lot of questions asked until things go sour. And it's obviously a disappointing end in that sense for Shildt. But I think the way I think about it too is I understand that if you're in San Diego and you're thinking about it, people will continue to dig in and ask these questions. I just wonder what it means moving forward, because this is a team that is a main character basically every offseason because of this front office and because of the way Preller operates. And because of that, it just makes me all the more curious who is fit for a partnership with this team as the manager, with Preller, with this new ownership. Like, all of these things is what makes me, I'm thinking ahead as much as looking behind and trying to figure out what happened. But I also totally understand the perspective of trying to dig in and ask as many questions as possible.
Jordan, really appreciate it. Hey, enjoy yourself. Good coverage, of course. Yahoo Sports, Cespedes Family Barbecue of all the postseason with Jake. Say hi to Jake for us as well, and hopefully we'll catch up with you again.
No cheering in the press box, Jordan.
Yeah, just remember,
it's tough.
It's awful. What a that's a terrible.
I'm here to do a job.
It's a terrible, terrible way to live. I'm sorry.
No, it's all good. Thank you, guys. We'll do this again soon.
You don't got to lie to us.
Jordan Schustman with a reflection of the Space Needle behind him.
Pretty cool.
In Seattle, Washington.
What a place to be tonight, man. It's the place. That's the place if you're a baseball fan, you'd want to be in Seattle right now. Place is going to be bananas. What time's that game?
5:08. It struck me when Paulie said about, growing up in Seattle, and Dan Wilson was the catcher and Edgar Martinez was on the team, and now he's the manager and one of the coaches.
Hitting coordinator.
And
it'd be like Carlos Hernandez becomes the manager and Trevor Hoffman's the pitching coach or something.
I hadn't really
this is amazing.
Thought about the parallels with the 1998 Padres. Boch, who was a catcher when I was growing up.
Yeah.
Flan was on the coaching staff, was on the team. They won their first 2 games in the NLCS on the road against the favored Braves, and then came back home for game 3. It was insanity at Qualcomm because it hadn't happened in 14 years. And getting there, and then they won game 3, and then they lost games 4 and 5 and had to go back to Atlanta to win game 6. and then they got it done. But we were getting really nervous. I wonder if the
Only
Mariners
to meet a
have the
buzzsaw
same
in the World
story here.
Series.
Yeah.
That also sounds familiar.
Oh,
That
yeah.
sounds
and how
familiar,
they
too.
heavily favored big market buzzsaw. Historic.
They finally
team in the World
get
Series. I know.
there and they run into the Dodgers.
but
Sounds
how
so
about those
familiar.
My boys
parallels.
are losing their minds up
I
there.
bet.
How about those parallels? All right, we've got 1 hour to go. Paulie's got a Rindle report, headlines we haven't gotten to yet, and more coming up next with Ben Woods on 97.3 The Fan. hour of Ben and Woods. Our thanks again to Jordan Schustman from Cespedes Family Barbecue. Want to get to more of the takeaways from AJ Preller's news conference yesterday. We've got some time in our final hour to do so. Also, one baseball note we haven't gotten to. Alex Bregman is reportedly going to opt out of his 3-year deal with the Boston Red Sox after just one season. A little surprising in that it was 3 years, $120 million. So you get more than $40 million a year. I mean, a good season, but
maybe, yeah. I think with the I read somewhere they said something about the lockout looming. You want to go into your free agency now and not obviously then. Was it? He had options every year.
He had options
he?
for 2 more years, but I guess with the uncertainty, he just wanted to try it again. Maybe get a longer term deal. We'll see if that pays off for him. I did also see it suggested that a number of players who are free agents this year, when they sign their deals, expect to see prorated signing bonuses that are paid out heavily in 2027 for players who paychecks just stopped all of a sudden, but they still have to pay out signing bonuses because those are part of your contract. You don't stop paying out the signing bonus even though the game stopped. You stop in a lockout, you no longer pay a player's salary during a lockout, but you still have to pay their signing bonus because that was already earned when he signed the deal. So you get a $10 million signing bonus. I want $8 million of it in 2027. It's like that income stream that you want to guarantee, even though you may be going on lockout with your players during that season.
Yeah, I don't know how it all works or what the thought process is behind Alex Bregman, going out and seeking free agency again. Will he do better than 40? I doubt AAV wise, right? But maybe the longer term deal is what he was actually looking for. Tigers are already being mentioned as a team that would be very interested in Alex Bregman. He'd be reunited with AJ Hinch. They've got a good team. They got a young core. They feel like they're a playoff team every year. Does Alex Bregman want to play in Detroit? Maybe. But he's going to go to whoever pays him the most. He could be a Dodger for all we know.
Trevor Story also has an opt-out, and the Red Sox may have to replace the entire left side of their infield this offseason, which would be an interesting development for that franchise.
It's crazy. Like K-Law says, Alex Bregman opting out after the Red Sox shipped Devers away for him, essentially, is probably a bit of a blow to the front office.
And maybe that's what Scott Boras is thinking. Hey, Red Sox, they can't
dying.
afford not to sign him.
They could re-sign you at a longer,
get whatever I want, which I think is a very legitimate possibility. He may be back with the Red Sox just on a longer deal for more guaranteed money.
Yeah.
So, all right, Paulie, why don't you get us some other headlines? It is time for the Rindle Report. Get things started here with our today's edition of the Rindle Report.
Now tuned into the greatest.
Welcome to the Rindle Report with Paul Rindle.
Hi, Paul.
All right.
2 stories from the world of sports that we haven't gotten to yet.
We'll start off in Major League Baseball.
And 1 story that you didn't know you needed.
Are you laughing, biatch?
It's the Rindle Report.
Hey, Paul, how you doing? Okay, how are you?
On 97.3 The Fan.
Are you ready to bless the mood? I need some help, please.
That was good.
Can I get a oh yeah?
All right.
All right. It is the Rindle Report brought to you by your local Kia dealers. Visit kia.com to discover movement that inspires. Gentlemen, we will start off in college football. How about this? Let's see. Both of you guys. Try to transport yourselves. You are the head coach of Ole Miss. You are the number 5 team in the country, sitting at 6-0, and you got a big matchup coming up against Georgia, the number 9 team, 5-1 this weekend. How are you feeling? Are you feeling confident, cocky, nervous, excited, all of it? How are you feeling?
All of it. That's elite. That's what you live for.
This is what you've been waiting for.
Yeah.
Ole Miss, not considered the powerhouses of the SEC, but they're up there with the big boys now.
Oh, yeah.
Big game this week for the Rebs.
Big one. And Lane Kiffin decided he was going to take some shots at Georgia football, and more in particular, Kirby Smart, their head coach. Listen to this question that was asked to Lane Kiffin this week during his media availability. kind of kicking the hornet's nest a little bit, maybe.
Off the wall question. You and Kirby, probably some of the more demonstrative coaches on the field. Who do you think burns more calories in a game, you or him?
I don't know. That's a good question. I walked by the TV and saw his press conference today, so it don't look like he's burned too many calories.
Fat jokes in the year 2025 against the guy you're going to be coaching against.
Bold strategy.
I mean, I wouldn't kick that hornet's nest.
It's so unusual in this day and age. If you're a coach, football, baseball, whatever, you're so closed and you're so careful usually about what you say, but not Lane Kiffin. He shoots from the hip.
Yeah, I mean, I think it served him pretty well.
Doesn't really
career.
filter himself very much.
I
like
saw
that.
him on TV. He doesn't look like he burns too many calories.
I'm sure they're friendly, right?
I don't know that that's true.
I don't know the
that
dynamics
other college coaches like Lane Kiffin that much.
I don't know the dynamics of their friendship or their professional courtesy or whatever, but that's a shot.
Yeah, that's a shot. All right, that's it for college football. We will move over to the world of hockey, and not even NHL hockey, but something I'd like to see here in America in the NHL, in the MLB, the NFL, the NBA, all major sports. A referee was banned for life in the KHL. That's a hockey league in Russia.
Committed
for getting
a crime or what happened?
Yeah, gambling. Was he betting on games?
No, he just got a call wrong. Very, very wrong, but all he did was get a call wrong. I'll put it up on our YouTube stream, but basically, if you're not watching, they had to go to extra slow motion. There was a goal that was called a goal, and after video replay, you can clearly see that the puck goes through the side of the netting on the wrong side of the bar.
Oh,
like,
yeah,
it goes right
under
through.
the net wasn't securely fastened all the way to the ice, and it slipped under the side of the net into the net.
Like, I don't know
could
if
get that
the
wrong,
shot,
right?
I don't know if the shot was hit so fast it went right through the netting, if there was a small hole and the puck went right through it, but clearly it was not a goal.
Yeah,
it went
but
right
I mean
through
that's going to be hard because it went into the net. I mean, you're going to see that as a referee. You're going to call that a goal every time.
Yeah, well, the call stood as originally called.
Did they? No, so they
did
this
video
was the replay
review.
call. Okay,
and call stands. It's a goal.
So on slow motion, they still said it was a goal.
To my knowledge,
Okay.
based on what I'm reading here, yes.
Because if he got fired and that was just his real time, and he saw it go into the net and come out of the net, and he didn't see it slide under the net, that is totally understandable.
No, the referee was banned for life by the KHL. It says here that they do not have a referees union similar to the NHL or MLB Umpires Association, whatever you want to call it. They don't have that. He has nobody to help him out on this one. That ref is out of a job and will not be refereeing in the KHL ever again.
That's how it should be done.
There wouldn't be any referees left in any sport.
Doug Eddings is literally standing on a street corner with a sign.
DJ Rayburn, that was about 3 inches low. You're fired.
Yeah.
Out of a job today. I mean, every referee gets calls wrong.
Yeah, of course. It's a way to hold them accountable.
Yeah?
Yeah.
I think so. All right. And then finally, trying to find something here, a little goofy, a little non-sports. Just get your thoughts on this. I think we all are intrigued by this Hollywood director, but also kind of creeped out by him. M. Night Shyamalan.
Yeah.
Has put out some of the best movies. I mean, Signs, Sixth Sense.
Signs was great.
The Village.
Sixth Sense was great. Didn't see The Village, I don't think.
He puts out, I mean,
I haven't seen a good, I can't remember a good one in many years, but I also
I love his style that you know what you're getting.
Yeah.
You know what you're getting yourself into. It's going to be a trippy plot. It's going to be well put together. So M. Night Shyamalan is directing a new series that has been announced.
Okay, I'm in.
And it's called, it's about the Magic 8 Ball. It kind of surrounds Magic 8 Ball and predictions and all of that. It says here he's joined Monday. Sorry, I had to refresh my computer here. He's been working on this for years. According to the official description, the TV show will reimagine the classic Magic 8 Ball as the centerpiece of a high-concept, character-driven, supernatural drama that blends psychological intensity and cultural intrigue.
It's a show about an actual magical 8-ball.
And then when you ask it a
Make a
question,
wish.
it makes it come true, but in a horribly evil way or something.
Did you have
I don't
one
know.
when you were a
Of
kid?
course,
Yeah.
Everybody had one, right?
It's fun for like 3 minutes.
The signs are unclear.
Yeah.
Great.
It's fun. It's fun for 3 minutes.
Take,
You know,
take a stand, 8-ball.
you don't run into your room every day as a kid and be like, let me shake my magic. At least I didn't.
Does Jenny like me? Shake, 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 shake. The signs are unclear. Thanks.
All we know
Obviously
is that M. Night put out a Instagram post of just the front cover of the script with a Magic 8 Ball. It says Magic 8 Ball Season 1 pilot, directed by M. Night Shyamalan. And so he's like, who's in? So could be a year or so away, but he's been doing TV shows with Apple TV recently, which, by the way, is no longer Apple TV Plus. It's just Apple TV.
That's right. They just did a rebrand.
What?
Yes, they
Yes.
did. They took away the plus and said, this is our fresh new look.
So HBO Max became Max, and now it's back to HBO
Yep.
Max or just HBO. Apple Plus is
HBO
just
Max.
Apple
It's HBO
TV.
Max.
It's now HBO Max, but
Yep.
it was just Max.
It
for a
was
while.
Max. It
There's
was
this-
HBO Go, then it was HBO
I
Max.
don't know that I've ever been more disappointed in myself. I enjoyed The Sixth Sense, but I don't ever remember being as disappointed in myself for watching a movie for not seeing it coming. Because
Oh,
it seemed
yeah.
so obvious at the end when they revealed it.
No spoilers.
But I didn't know.
It's 30 years old.
I didn't know. I saw it very soon, and I watched it, and it floored me. And I go, how did I not see that coming? I mean, they made it obvious right at the beginning, and I didn't see it coming.
There's a show that I wanted to shout out that I started yesterday. It's called The Chair Company. Have you heard of this
The
yet?
Chair Company.
Yeah, it's on HBO Max or whatever it's called. You guys know Tim Robinson? We did this before.
Not
you know
Tim Robbins.
No, not Tim Robinson, not
Robinson.
Craig. This guy.
yeah.
Okay, yeah.
This guy?
Yep.
Tim Robinson. Funny dude.
SNL, right?
I think he was on SNL. Yeah, he was. He plays this. He's a guy that goes up to do this corporate speech, and he has just been given his promotion. He's going to be running a mall, this giant mall, and he's in charge of the building of it. And he goes up and he gives this killer speech at this event.
Like a ribbon cutting or
Yeah,
some
kind
sort
of,
yeah.
but it's more like to fire up the troops. He sits down in his chair, and his chair breaks in front of everyone. And he goes off on this conspiracy against he starts developing this conspiracy theory against the chair company.
Big chair.
Like big chair, essentially. You guys, when he sits down, he gives the speech and he gives he's fired up. He sits down in his chair on stage and falls over. He's mortified. He's now just gotten this promotion and he falls over. You guys, it's brilliant. It's brilliant. There's only one out. And I watched it yesterday. It's really, really funny. It's really offbeat. It's so cringe. It's cringe comedy is what it is. It's really good and very clever. And think about it. We've all done something mortifyingly embarrassing, but it takes over his entire life. And he's bound and determined to get to the bottom of why this happened to him. It's really, really awkward and weird. I think you guys would like it.
All right, I'm in.
Check it out. The Chair Company's on HBO.
Chair Company.
It's really funny.
Man, people have weird ideas.
They really do. They really, really do. Thank you, Paulie.
Thank you.
Signs got me, man.
Signs got me
We
too,
have,
man. That was really good.
It was it wasn't a scary movie
No,
or
it
like
was-
a thriller,
When that thing runs across.
but it's the creepiest intended scary movie, I guess. Like it scared the hell out of
Scared
me
me
when
to
that movie
death.
came out.
It got a little cheesy, but yeah.
M. Night
Swing away, man.
is a nickname. His first name is Minaj, but he goes by M. Night, his Hollywood name. We have an M that we work with here.
Yeah, M. Peter.
M. Peter.
M. Peter Shyamalan.
He's one of our sales execs, but his name is just M.
M.
Just the letter
Birth
M.
name.
Yeah. It's not Peter. You don't call him Peter.
No, his name is
It's
M.
M. M. Peter.
He doesn't. It's not Michael.
No.
Just
I actually
M.
don't know. Is Peter his middle name though, or is
Yeah,
his
M.
name
His first
M.
name
Peter?
is M. I think. I'm not sure about that.
I call him M. Peter.
I call him M. Peter.
Sometimes just call him M.
You do?
Yeah.
I call him M. Peter. He's the one that wanted me to make it spooky.
He's the only other M I've ever known, other than M. Night.
That's right. But that's not
But
even
that's
his
just
name.
that's an abbreviation. It's M period night.
If you were going to name your one of your children
letter?
after a letter,
Ooh.
got to be X, right? That's the coolest.
That is
X
cool.
is pretty cool.
What's the worst? P.
F.
F. Hey, F.
R.
R. R. W is cool.
R would be confusing. R.
R.
R. R. O would be confusing.
Oh.
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 There's some people with nicknames, you know, that go
Do
by
that
their
again,
first
Ben.
letter.
Oh. It's dinner.
Thank you. F. Murray Abraham is an actor. You know that guy? F. Murray. Why do people do this? I wonder. Now, if M. Peter didn't have a choice, he was named M.
But you never call him just F. You say F. Murray.
F. Murray.
You just
It's
say
F. Murray Abraham.
I'm thinking of this scene, the Ted movies.
C. Ben Higgins.
See
Trent Rosecrans.
See Trent Rosecrans.
Yes.
The Ted movies, the Ted, live action teddy bear movies, they're not great. The second one was really bad, actually, but there was a moment where the attorney in the movie talks about F. Scott Fitzgerald.
Yeah, F. Scott Fitzgerald.
And Ted goes, "Why are you saying F him?" He goes, "No, that's his name.
No,
F. Scott.
no, F. Scott Fitzgerald.
Well, what did he do? What did Scott do? Why are you saying F. Scott Fitzgerald?"
What
W would be
what are our names? So I would go by S. Lee Woods,
B. Stephen Higgins,
P. Thomas Reindl.
P. Thomas
Reindl
Reindl sounds
cool. That
amazing.
sounds pretty cool.
P. Thomas is great. You're now P. Thomas Reindl from now on. We have always been looking for. I call him Paulie. There was a time early in the show. He said something about pork chops, and I go, "Boy, that'd be a terrible nickname, wouldn't it?"
You don't want to be pork chop.
Pork chop Reindl.
Hey, pork chop.
It's our producer. Pork chop would be terrible.
See, D is a name like D.
Yeah, D-E-E. That's
I like
true.
Z.
Z is cool.
Z is cool.
Why?
Why Woods?
Why?
The P. Thomas report instead of the Reindl report. I like that. Yeah. All right. There you go. Nice aside there.
You
That's
Darvish.
That's pretty tough.
You.
I like that.
All right, let's take a time
Get
out.
over here, you.
Hey, you.
Some other takeaways from AJ Preller yesterday, not just the Mike Shildt stuff, but some off-season questions that were asked and sort of not really answered by AJ Preller yesterday. Get to more of that coming up next after Traffic with Ben Woods on San Diego's #1 sports station, 97.3 The Fan.
Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. GEGE 000-466. For a full list of games and rules, played at 7 Mile Casino. Visit 7milecasino.com.
7 Mile Casino, or S-Mile Casino, as we sometimes refer to.
Smile Casino.
Smile Casino. Makes us smile.
Yep.
When we go to S-Mile Casino, it's just S minutes down the 5 freeway
That's
in
right.
Chula Vista.
That's exactly right. What is it that you look for when you're looking for, a night out or an afternoon? If you want to go play some cards, they will definitely have you covered there. They got Texas Hold'em, Pai Gow, Baccarat. They've got California style blackjack, and they have really friendly dealers. It's a really clean place. It's bright. It's airy. It's not dingy and dank.
It is bright.
It is bright.
Not like, glary sort of,
No.
I can't see way.
But you don't feel like you're locked in some dude's basement playing cards, which is, we've all been to other,
I've been in those rooms.
and that you don't feel right about it. You
No.
feel right when you go to
You
7
don't
Mile
really,
Casino.
you don't really want the walls closing in
Yeah.
on you. And you never feel like that. You definitely feel like you're in a nice restaurant. You're in a nice lounge of some sort. You can hang out, watch TV. Full bar there at Sammy's at 7 Mile. And on a nice day, a patio is gorgeous overlooking San Diego Bay. Coronado, the Silver Strand, really nice place to hang out. Take friends if they're in from out of town. They like playing cards. You should be heading to 7 Mile Casino. No long drive. You don't want to waste all your time in the car, do you? No, hop on the 5 freeway. Head south, get off at E. Stay on Bay Boulevard right there, west side of the 5 at 7 Mile Casino, just 7 minutes from downtown.
player, this is all yours. This room with this view. This speakeasy with this cocktail. Hey, could you make that too? This spa with this. Ah. And this pool on this roof. This is all for you. The all-new Hamul Casino Resort, now open.
Just had a visit from our boss, Adam.
Yes, sir.
He loves talking sports. He needs to come in and just get it off his chest sometimes.
He really
during
does.
the breaks.
This is like his scream room. Like he comes in.
That's super cool.
And he brought up a point. I heard Braden talking about it.
I enjoy it.
I heard Braden
I'm
talking
kidding,
about
Adam.
it yesterday. We love you, Adam. And Braden, I thought it was a very intelligent point when he said, you have to extend AJ Preller. And if you're
Correct.
not going to, then why are you letting him hire another manager?
You don't.
You one or the other. And he said, extend him. And I agree that the Padres should, and reportedly they will try to extend AJ Preller. But there's a part that I disagree, and Adam wanted to know why, but I'll explain to it right now. I think too much is sometimes made about who you're letting make decisions, and well, you can't let this guy go into the walk year of his contract or be a lame duck. Everybody in a baseball or football or basketball organization generally all have the same goal. It's good when you win. It's good for everybody's career when you win. You're all trying to win in the end. And just because a guy is going into the last year of his contract doesn't make any sense to me that he can't do his job all of a sudden. What, now he doesn't want to win anymore? Of course, he wants to win even more going into the last year of his contract. AJ even more wants to make a good choice for manager, knowing his job status is on the line. I don't think it's quite as, imperative going, we need to show some confidence in this guy or no one's going to want to work for us. No, everyone wants to work for you. There's only 30 jobs.
That being said, if you're a manager, if you're a potential manager, don't you want to know? Who's my boss? Is it him? Is it somebody else? What are we doing? Like, I don't want to come to a place of
But whoever your boss is, you know what they want.
They want you to win.
They want you to win. Whether it's AJ, Eric Grupner, John Seidler, whoever is making the decision, you know what they want.
Yeah, but different bosses can make or break your
but you
general
know what they
well-being.
want. They all want the same thing.
Yeah, but how do they get that same thing?
They're hiring you
so
to
many
figure
different
that
methods.
out, and they're hiring you to figure that out.
It does happen all the time where, and I thought this was interesting yesterday. when somebody asked AJ about, so if you do, when you get a new manager, because you don't have a choice, or will you allow them to bring their own staffs over, right? That's always the big question. Like that there's this traveling pack of guys that roll together at every opportunity. And I don't go unless you go, and you don't go unless I go. Are those days behind us in the game of baseball? Like Boch would have his guys that he would bring with him, and
Bob Melvin got a couple of guys.
He
Matt
did.
Williams, Ryan
Christensen.
Christensen.
Yep,
he got a couple
100%.
guys,
He
and
got
then,
a couple.
AJ had his guys that were sticking around. Ryan Flaherty, and
but see, like Travis says, you take a job with a lame duck GM. The next GM, if there is one, is going to want to pick his own guy. Is he not? So I do think it's important.
But if you do a good job and you win, then your GM's probably sticking around as well, because
you can't win.
David
if you
Ross
don't have a good.
David Ross won, but Craig Counsell became available, and they fired. Wasn't it David Ross? They fired David Ross.
Correct.
It happens. And again, like this is already a tumultuous. You're already working on the set of Knots Landing, as it is, and so. Yeah, I think if they're interviewing me, Stephen Woods, for the manager, all right, AJ, are you going to be here? We going to do this together? How's this work? I know your contract's still up in the air. It would be important to me. Wouldn't be the final nail in the coffin. Actually, I'm going to go take that Rockies gig that I was offered. No, but it's something that you would want to know.
If you're working for and you are a reasonable person, it's not that hard. I mean, it's hard, but you give some, you take some, you compromise in certain areas, you draw a line in certain areas. Hey, we do it here all the time. You do it with our show. There's some things that we're asked to do. Like, yeah, we can do that. Probably wouldn't have been our first choice, but we can do that. Other things are like, no, we have to do this way. If you want us to do our show, this is a red line. We have to do it this way if you want us here. It's the same with a manager and a GM, and I'm sure it was that way with AJ and Mike Shildt. There were some things that AJ Preller wanted done that Mike Shildt wouldn't do. There were other things that probably Mike Shildt would do. It's always a give and take between any two people in an organization that are, boss and underling or however you want to describe it. You hire someone to do that job. And if you're just telling them exactly what you want every single step of the way, you don't need even a manager. You just need a robot. Just push the buttons, go do it yourself. AJ's not like that. He's hiring a manager to do the job of managing the baseball team. That's who he's picking. He's not picking someone that he wants to do it his way. He wants to hire a manager that's going to manage the team. He let Mike Shildt manage the team. And in the end, kind of let Mike Shildt sink his own managing and his own health because of the way he managed his team. It's not because I don't think Mike Shildt is leaving because AJ was too hard on him.
No, I don't think so either.
Mike Shildt caused his own stress and forced his own way out of the organization because he couldn't handle the way he was managing the team.
Yeah.
Not the way the Padres were managing him. It was his own interactions with his staff, his own things that eventually led to him wanting to step aside and retire from the job. Not the Padres organization.
But I do feel I think I'm in the, I don't think I am. I'm in the extend AJ Preller, a couple more years, whatever. And this next hire is just like we've said about the last one. It's just crucial. It's just so crucial. You would hate to kill any momentum that this team has. And, you do feel for Jackson Merrill. You do feel for Toddy and Manny. All those guys have gone through all of these different managers. I don't know what the right answer is. I don't know what the right fit is. I could probably be swayed on Albert Pujols. I could be swayed on Don Mattingly, Carlos Beltran. I could be swayed on just about anybody. Honestly, there's a couple in mind that I'm like, I don't know that that's the right fit. But for the most part, I could probably be swayed on anybody as long as I feel that there's a real commitment to winning and a real desire to win a World Series and a real desire to keep things from spiraling like this.
For people who say, if you hire a manager, you got to let him hire his own coaching staff. All right, you've got your manager in place. First thing he wants to do, I'm getting rid of Ruben Niebla.
You're fired.
No,
yeah,
absolutely not. If
and
I'm
AJ
AJ Preller,
he did
that's
say,
like a red line. No, you can't get rid. And he said that to Bob
said
Melvin. I don't know if Bob Melvin wanted to keep Ruben Niebla or not, but
That
AJ
was
Preller was like saying, you are not getting rid of this
Well,
guy.
it sounded yesterday like he was pretty hard line in that as well. That's not to say that Ruben won't get the gig. I'm sure he's going to interview it. I'm sure he wants the gig, but
you're not getting this job if your first act is going to be, I need to replace the pitching coach with my guy.
Yeah, no doubt. No doubt. And AJ said as much yesterday on his presser. He said as much. He goes, no, we've got guys in place here that are really, really good coaches and et cetera, et cetera.
I'll take the job, but I need to bring Larry Rothschild back as the pitching coach. No, you're not getting the job.
Yeah, you're out.
There's no chance. Yeah, we got to get rid of Ben Fritz. No, we have good people in place. That's what AJ was saying yesterday. We have lots of good people in place. I need to find someone, and I'm not unwilling to let them bring some people with them, but we need to find people who can work with our good people that we think we have in this organization. And I believe the Padres have good people in their organization. You know why? I've met them. I've talked to them. I've talked to Ruben. I've talked to Ben. I've talked to other people. There are good people in this organization. I don't want a new manager to come in and clean house of good people.
I don't either.
So you need to find someone who's willing to do that. And then they'll, of course, be accused. Well, you're an AJ puppet.
You're a puppet.
Because
he can't win until he wins.
Right.
That's the deal. None of these guys will win until they win.
JH says, so it'll be an in-house hire. It might.
Could be.
But there are also people from outside who probably have heard nothing but good things about Ruben Niebla. I'm excited. I want to work with him.
Yeah.
Or they'll say that because they want to get the job.
Sure.
Which was a little Bob Melvin-ish as well.
Indeed.
So
that's the story I heard.
I know.
Yeah. Sure. Yeah, yeah, whatever you need. Yeah, I'll do it. Actually, I'm gonna do it my own way. That's exactly what I heard.
What are you gonna do now?
Yeah, what are you gonna do? You hired me. Beat it, nerd. I'm gonna do it my way. So, okay. And then immediate discourse.
Yeah.
We've all done it. Sure. Ben does it to me every time on the phone. Every day. Sure. Yep. All right. Yeah. Sounds good.
I'm over here.
He does what he wants.
I'm just over here thinking about what AJ Preller's phone looks like this week.
It looks. I mean, what is the over under of people that have reached out for this job? I'm saying right now it's over 70 people.
I was gonna say about 100. Yeah.
Yeah, over 70 people have texted. Hey, would love this opportunity.
Would love to chat.
When there was a radio job open for a couple of years, I was psychotic
I don't think
about
you reach out directly. You have someone else reach out on your behalf.
No way. You reach out directly.
I've heard so-and-so would be really interested in the job, but you look kind of desperate if you're reaching out yourself, don't you?
Yeah.
I
always did.
You are 30 of them.
There's 30 of them. Yeah.
I'm impressed.
And this was one that I don't think a lot of people in baseball expected to be open Monday.
Correct.
Did you see in the Kevin Acee piece, Mike Shildt said he had 1,000 text messages, and he got back to you.
He did.
1,000 text messages.
He did. We actually texted for a few minutes. We texted. It was more than one. Hey, sorry to hear the news. Thanks, bud. It was more than that.
I couldn't even get Tony Gwynn Jr. to text back on his birthday.
I know.
And you got Mike Shildt to text you back. It's pretty good.
Yeah. Pretty good.
Tony
indeed.
clearly doesn't like you.
Yeah, exactly. That's the difference.
Shildt
and I butted heads, but he actually likes you. Yeah.
Tony texted me back almost right away.
Yeah, and you, Paulie. Exactly. Do you guys text Shildt?
I have not. I know you did.
Okay.
I felt like that
covers
represented
us.
all of the
All right.
show.
That's fair.
Didn't need to inundate with 1,001.
That's fair.
Got a lot of them. But at some point, if I run into him, we'd be very happy to see him. And I hope he can, start getting his health in order and feel better.
Drew says it's always exciting being a
my
Padres.
dude? How you doing?
Oh, good. He says it's always exciting being a Padres fan one way or the other. Yes.
All right, final timeout. We'll come back. Any other takeaways from AJ Preller? He didn't really reveal much. You sit down with him at a Texas Hold'em table, you're not going to see his cards, no doubt about it. But we'll share our final thoughts.
He plays poker?
No, he doesn't have time for it, but he'd be good at it. He'd be good
What's
at
he
it for
doing on
sure.
those flights?
Ben Woods on San Diego's #1 sports station, 97.3 The Fan. First, Woods and I want to remind you, if you are a family person, if you've got kids and you don't have a will or a trust, and you don't name a guardian for your children. This blew me away when I found this out when we first did our trust and will, that the state gets to decide what happens to your kids, not your family members. You actually have to go to court, and they may decide, no, we're going to put them with this aunt or uncle that you wouldn't have picked. You have to put it down in writing, or you have no say in the matter. That's why going to trustandwill.com is so important, Woods.
Well, it's not only that, right? It's everything that you have, your assets, your 401k. Where does it go? Who gets it? How is it distributed? Like, these are all really important things. If you are if you have a family, make sure you go to trustandwill.com. Use the code radio20 when you check out. get a 20% discount on your trust or will. And they will take such good care of you, and they make it so simple to do. I really like the ease of use. It is the most important thing in my life. Ease of use.
I like that it doesn't cost a fortune like a lawyer's office would. You used to have to go to a lawyer, and I can see why that would prevent you from doing it. This is the way to go. Trustandwill.com. Use code radio20 at checkout to get 20% off your trust or your will. Stay out of probate court with a trust. Make your family a little peace of mind for yourself and your family at trustandwill.com.
Hey, player, this is all yours. This room with this view. This speakeasy with this cocktail. Hey, could you make that too? The spa with this. Ah. And this pool on this roof. This is all for you. The all-new Hamul Casino Resort, now open.
This hour on 97.3 The Fan is brought to you by U.S. Wellness Meats. U.S. Wellness Meats offers 100% grass-fed beef, pork, poultry, wild-caught seafood, and more. Ship free from family farms. Get 20% off your first order at uswellnessmeats.com.
Someone suggested in the chat that they would like to spend an entire year with AJ Preller. And I said that would be one of the more fascinating documentaries of all time. The documentarians would probably pull their hair out.
There'd be no footage, though.
What do you mean?
Well, I mean, it would be every day would be going to play basketball.
Yep.
And then he's on his phone like for the other 22 hours of the day.
Yeah.
Yeah, you mean
But you need access to the conversations and what's happening.
I don't know that
You can't
a
just film
documentary
him.
would work.
Yeah, documentary might
You
not
need like a
work.
dramatization more. You could show somebody on the other end of the phone call.
Moneyball, you need the other GM on the other end of the phone.
Hanging
I've got
out.
here,
That's
I've got
true.
him on the line and everything. But for on AJ's side, if you just had a camera around, you just see a guy attached to his cell phone
all day,
21 hours a day minimum.
It's just filming him on his phone, talking, texting.
Everyone saw the video of him just wandering out on the field at Wrigley after Game 3 on his phone.
It still remains the greatest mystery of who.
No one asked him yesterday.
Who were you talking to?
Who do you call when the season is over?
Mom? Is it mom?
I
Legit.
don't know.
That's a legit.
I mean, everybody with the organization is with him there. So it's probably not a Padres person because they're already there inside of Wrigley Field.
Is it John Henry? Breslow's really not working out. So I don't know. I mean, literally, was it his mom? Was it his sister? Like, hey, bummer how it ended. I know my dad
setting up tomorrow's basketball game.
Yeah, because I know my dad would call me right after it was over, and I'd look at the phone and go, "All right, hi pops, how are you? Yeah, it sucked. Yeah, I don't know what happened. Couldn't hit. Don't know how to fix it. How you doing? How's mom? Like it could have been one of his parents. I'm not even kidding. Could have been your brother.
Could have been my brother.
Tell your brother to
I think they mostly communicate via text.
Tell your brother to ask him
who he was
Who'd you
talking
call?
to. I will ask him.
Yeah.
Maybe AJ should get his phone sponsored by David P. Shapiro, like he does our fan hotline. Facing criminal charges, trust David P. Shapiro criminal defense attorneys, helping clients regain control since 2010. Visit davidpshapirolaw.com. In the last of 8 or 7 minutes, I want to focus on the back half of AJ Preller's news conference from yesterday and some of the questions that we heard at the end.
AJ Preller's back half.
AJ Preller's back half coming up next on The Fan.
From the 855 Get Ross Traffic Center, protecting San Diego after accidents or injury, here's Kelly Danick.
This traffic report is driven to you by Manny Sedano Ford and Lincoln in La Mesa and their October Spooktacular sale. Winding down our morning drive with a few problems here, guys. One of them is this collision on westbound 8 just before the 805. Got a couple vehicles involved in this one, trying to move that out of the fast lane. Also traveling on eastbound 52 before Mast Boulevard, some sort of debris reported in middle lanes. And find on northbound 5, right before La Jolla Village Drive, accident blocking the slow lane. And northbound 15 before Carmel Mountain Road, accident over to the right shoulder. If you're looking for luxury and savings, the October Spooktacular has you covered. At least the elegant 2025 Lincoln Corsair Hybrid, all-wheel drive for just $355 a month on a 36-month lease. For more details about these offers, go to SedanoFord.com or SedanoLincoln.com. I'm Kelly Danick with Ben & Wood, San Diego's #1 sports station, 97.3 The Fan.
Always fascinated to see what questions do get asked. You get a limited amount of time with AJ Preller. Most of it was devoted to the managerial news, obviously, but there were some other questions at the end of the news conference yesterday. There was even a question about Luis Campusano, and AJ Preller actually gave an answer to that one, said he's going to be in our mix next year for sure, hoping the experiences this year are going to help him overall as a player after he had a 1,036 OPS with AAA El Paso, but of course went 0 for 21 on the big league level. Is there still a major league career in the future of Luis Campusano, Woods?
I think he's got a better shot now than he did 48 hours ago. AJ,
that's a good point.
Interesting, yeah.
I
hadn't thought of that.
Or the other thing is you got to pump up his trade value.
That's true too.
So,
but a backup role to Freddie Fermin
sure
could still be in the cards
again
next year.
if he gets a shot to be the backup. It will be another shot for him, and it's something that they could absolutely use, and it won't cost them a ton of money.
We've seen players who come up and can't hit it all at the big league level, but are
he
good at
has.
AAA. But he has hit. He's hit over 300 at the big league level in limited sample size. He didn't this year. It was a fluke. Maybe even the pressure getting to him at some point. Like, all right, I'm 0 for 16 at this point. I'm starting to press a little bit. A fresh start next year could be good for Luis Campusano. He was asked about Yu Darvish. Preller said he's communicated quite a bit with Yu Darvish over the last week, but Yu doesn't sound like anywhere near necessarily making a decision about his future, his health, and what's going on, but they will remain in communication.
Yeah, I didn't glean a lot of information. I thought, somebody asked him the Mason Miller question. I'm glad they did. What are your plans for there? We haven't gotten there yet. We haven't gotten there. Now,
which may also be a bit of a lie because we saw players in the lab like the day after the season getting their programs.
But again, like the program that they get them in right after the season because their arm's still hot. They don't want to go sit for 3 weeks, then come back. All right, let's ramp it up. See how that slider's looking now. The arms are still hot. They're in the groove. So you give them their plan. And I'm sure Mason Miller was in there to get his plan. But what his plan was, now again, we may not know, but they said, hey, this is what we want you to do. There might, and I don't know anything about getting a pitching plan for the offseason. Nothing. I'd love to ask Ruben what it looks like. It doesn't
involve a lot of pitching right now.
Correct.
I'll tell you that.
Correct. So it could be one of those things where it's like, hey, this is what, what do you tell Mason Miller, by the way? Hey, thanks for absolutely dominating and kicking ass. Keep doing what you're doing. Do some squats and work on your core, and we'll see you back here. We'll let you know in a couple of weeks whether you're going to be starting or relieving. What do you tell him?
Don't go skiing.
Yeah, don't live in a bubble. Don't do any the water skiing, no skydiving. Just do get your arm care in. Keep that core engaged and go from there.
Don't go up in a hunting blind somewhere.
You do these 10 exercises and only these 10.
And only these 10.
I got an update on Ethan Salas and some concern after they had pulled him from the Arizona Fall League, worried about a setback with the stress fracture in his back. AJ said really did not have a setback. They simply did not want to push him. Even if he was 92%, they said, let's make sure he's 99% recovered.
No need, right?
I mean, yeah, if you're missing a few weeks of games in the winter, he should be ready for spring training and may even be ready for some sort of winter ball at some point, but they're not going to push him to do it in the fall league until the doctors are really, really confident that they're not going to make this last even longer. He's only 19 years old, and AJ said this is about the next 10 years with Ethan Salas, not about the next 10 weeks with Ethan Salas. So that probably not a lot of smoke there, but one of the other questions that was asked yesterday in the news conference with AJ Preller.
Okay. Yeah. I'm trying to think of anything else that jumped off the page at me yesterday. Nothing major. I mean, really nothing major. Nothing that I was, we've gone through these so many times. None of these surprised me anymore.
At the beginning, of course, and it was probably telling Kevin Acee had the first question. And knowing he's got all this piece, he didn't just write that yesterday. He'd been working on that. He made his first question. Can you tell me of any, knowledge of conflict within Mike Shildt and the organization? Which is, of course, he wants a comment on the record that's going to go into his piece that's going to drop later about what his coaches have thought of Mike Shildt, what the staff has thought of Mike Shildt. And AJ I don't think he lied because he said, yeah, there's always conflict. Then he says that's usually healthy when, there's some guys that aren't going to get along. When you compete at a high level in an industry like Major League Baseball, you're always going to have arguments. There's going to be some shouting matches. It's not uncommon. He didn't deny it.
Why does it always feel when it happens?
But he certainly downplayed it.
Well, yeah. Why does it always feel uncommon when it happens here? When Manny and Tatis were yelling, or Manny was yelling at Tatis a few years ago, you're like, oh my God, it's the end of the world. And it's no, this stuff happens all the friggin' time in baseball. Most of the time it happens down the tunnel or after the game, but every now and then you see it in the dugout. It happens. But it's not the end of the world. If you argued with your coaches or your bosses or whatever, it happens all the time. I know I'm guilty as charged. It's not the death knell for a franchise. It's not that. It doesn't mean that it's a terrible place to work. This is so common in baseball at every level, at every single level. So again, nothing is super surprising.
Which I think was ultimately kind of Mike Shilt's point as well. Like, I was hard on people, and isn't that what we do in this game? We're hard on the people we work with. I don't know. It sounds like at least people who worked with him thought he was unfairly hard on staff members and coaches. And it's one thing to be hard, and it's another thing to be what people think is unfairly hard. If they think they're working really hard and doing a good job, and they don't have any more to give, and you've got a guy who is just telling you you're not doing it the right way, you're not doing it the right way, at some point you do have a communication issue.
There's a track record now.
Yeah.
Now it's happened twice.
Yep.
Almost like eerily, his words, Shilt's words to Kevin Acee were, it's eerily similar. How it ended in St. Louis and how it ended in San Diego.
All right, on we move. We will be back tomorrow morning for the Throwback Thursday edition of Ben and Woods at 6 a.m. Braden coming up next, though, for executive producer Paul Reindl and Stephen Woods. I'm Ben Higgins. Have a great rest of your Wednesday from all of us here at San Diego's #1 sports station, 97.3 The Fan. So long, everybody.